my gosh, welcome back to RPL Season 11 podcast. Crazy. My name is Ben. I'm here with Greg and Phantom. Say hi.
Woohoo!
Hey,
Yeah, Season 11. We had 20 teams, kind of crazy, so we're going to try to move at a good speed through these. Um, I, unfortunately, am very underprepared, so I will be basically looking at the teams as we're talking. Um, Greg and Phantom have done more work. They'll be carrying me. And yeah, we're just gonna go in draft order. Standard national dex draft, points based. Terra everything below 13, and then you have a
Yeah,
limitation on
it's
how many
three
points you can
captains.
Terra. We had Ubers. There was a free like Ubers tier, so every draft has a Uber spawn.
Regieleki, Ogerpon, Shedinja, Ditto, Gothitelle, and Pokemon with a Megastone are all
Oh
Terra
yeah,
banned.
and we
And
also did the weird
this
thing
was
where Mega Pokemon, like you draft a Pokemon and the Mega's just available to you. It's not like you draft a Mega like before.
yeah, I figured that could be an interesting change. And this is starting after the introduction of the Stellar type, but we will not be using that.
Yes. Okay, let's just go. We're gonna go in draft order, at least first. Greg,
Okay.
you got Ellie.
Ellie, all right. Let me hit the timer button, and we're starting. Um, Ellie's team. Somehow he managed to get Zapdos and Skeledirge on the 2-3, which is kind of insane. Um, I think Skeledirge is one of the two best Terramons.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm not in, I don't like some of the rest of his team. Um, Mainly because I think Bulu is a bait, but Bulu Halucha makes it a little bit more passable. And then that trade for Politoed that happened, what, half an hour ago or whatever,
Yeah, the late
was
rain.
really good. I was telling him he should get that, and then I'm like, man, that sucks that Politoed got taken from you. But it's saved. I think he like fleeced that trade. Um, it's generally like I kind of like it, um, but I don't know that Dialga Origin was the best first pick. I'll admit it.
yeah.
Honestly,
I don't know. Actually, I don't know if it's the greatest first pick, but I still really like Dialga Origin. I think it's a great rocker, and the typing is goaded with Steel Dragon, and
yeah,
it pairs well with Zapdos too.
I mean, it's gonna hit insanely hard, which is great.
It did base 150 special attack too. It's actually a good breaker too.
Oh yeah, it's yeah. So I think it does something really big on his team, which is it's his only real special breaker, which is great. He
I
really needs that. I think he is lacking a little bit of special offense, but Dialga Origin kind of makes up
I
for it.
mean, I think Zapdos and Skeledirge are fine too. I think you could use more options, but I think they're fine
Yeah.
as it is.
I mean, I don't think it's a big problem, but I think it's a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of a problem.
I mean, I think
Um,
you can run offensive Zapdos and Rain,
For sure. Yeah.
right? Like I
you
feel like
could,
that's not terrible.
I think
Just
that's like the
spamming
best.
thunders.
That's probably the best way to use Zapdos if you're gonna run a rain team anyway.
yeah. No, I think his draft is really solid. Honestly, looking at it, like he's got the speed tiers. His defense is like insane. Zapdos, Skeledirge, Clodsire, Bronzong, like
Yeah,
really high tier
I'm
defense.
gonna be honest. At least team looks really obnoxious. Cloudsire, Skeletor, Zapdos. I don't want to deal with that at
Yeah.
all.
I don't either, man.
I mean, I don't think his offense is insane. It's really solid though. Like he's got the float soul in the rain, which I think he's gonna be relying on a lot. He's got the Halucha sweeper. He's got the Weevil Dialga. Like he's got hard hitters. He's got speed. He's got sweepers.
Like,
I think it maybe like isn't doesn't stack up quite as well as a couple other drafts, but like it's really solid.
I think I like his wide variety of offensive threats. I think between Floatzel, Hawlucha, Weavile, and Bulu, he has so many different options for breaking
Yeah,
defensive mons.
I think definitely the worst part about this draft is the removal. It's basically only Zapdos, but it's not that
Yeah,
bad.
It's
I mean, I
not
guess
I
great.
feel like I
it's
feel like
not
this is
great.
a
Yeah, no, it's pretty bad honestly. Like it's It's
I
pretty
feel
good.
like this is a team that just. Actually, yeah, I'd probably agree with that.
No, this is like a
Well,
more balanced, bulky offense team. You definitely want removal. And I think
I
Zapdos is definitely going to have to run defensive defog every single week with heavy duty.
yeah, and then knock off. Well, because Nat decks, most things get knock off again
Yeah.
if they used to have it. And Halucha wants to run an unburdened set, so you don't want to run boots on that.
Yeah.
And then you want to keep that thing healthy, just trying to get in and out before you either proc it with a terrain from Bulu or like CC.
Yeah. I mean, fortunately, his team isn't super hazard weak, but like his two big defensive mons, Skeletorge and Zapdos, are both rocks weak. So, it's
Well,
not
then Weavile doesn't want to take that either.
sure.
Yeah,
So
Weavile is probably gonna have to run boots like a
Yeah.
lot of the
Well,
time.
it runs boots most of the
yeah.
time, but yeah, I mean, no,
But like
it's not great. But like, I think
you're
it's
like
a
losing option. Or like it's harder for Weavile to run like choice band sets now or Sash.
Mm-hmm.
but like I think that's one like moderate problem, and then I would say otherwise this team's like just really shines. Like I think that's really the only thing you can point to.
I also
Maybe
feel
the
like
special
if you really
offense.
wanted to, he could just ignore rocks and just run a full hyper offense team, depending on the teams he faces too.
Yeah,
Like I think it's really easy to run hyper offense with this team.
yeah, no, I think this team's just really good. Like I don't know, he's maybe little fire weak, little ground weak. What else?
You kind of get away with being ground weak with grassy terrain.
Yeah. He has
Yeah, that's
Bulu and
true.
Quads are pretty well nicely, and he also has his Zapdos.
Oh, looks like he's electric weak.
I think I feel like Quadsire and Tapu Bulu are enough to deal with that though.
Yeah,
I don't think it's like that significant of an
no,
issue.
I think he's good. All right, should we move on?
Yeah, that is. We just hit 0 on the timer.
That's crazy. I'm gonna, without looking at your points, I'm gonna give this an 8.5. I think this is really solid.
Well, I figure we go over everything at the end.
Oh,
Um,
no, I think we should
you
give
can
like a
reveal
summary.
now.
Well,
Sure,
like we can
sure,
go
sure.
over at the end too. I think we should give a summary. What do you guys think?
Pulling mine back up. Initially, I had it at a 7, which I feel is now too low. I still have my reservations on just some of the mons that I'm just not a fan of using. And so I will keep it an 8, but I do think it's probably the best draft Ellie's had.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, he's been with Muck, so I don't know, but yeah,
I gave it a 7.5. I think
really.
it's fine. I think knockoff rocks hurts this team a lot. I think if there's hazards up, Floatzel's longevity is really hurt because it already relies on wave crash to deal damage.
Sure, that's a good point.
All right,
All right.
static. By the timer. Okay. First thing.
Ooh, speed.
Well, I was gonna say Xerneas might be the best Uber in the draft.
I don't agree with that.
I
I think it's really good. I don't think it's like anything crazy.
I think it's really good. I think it got knocked from being the best just because it doesn't have Geomancy because it's a complex band.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think it's really good. I think having the
That's-
berry type in that slot when most other
agree.
things are running a dragon type, just
you're
gives
right.
you kind of an edge.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like this team pairs really well. Really, really well. I think it's a really good fit for this team.
I have to look into it a little more, but to me, it feels like it's just gonna be running Calm Mind every week, and it won't really be able to break past steals. So don't get me wrong, it's really good, but I think it's a little predictable, and oh, it does get Focus Blast. Okay, I don't know.
Mhm. I mean, you're also pairing it with Garchomp Cinderace, right? So like, if
Also,
you're in on a
well,
steal, you're probably doing something wrong.
So this thing has so much coverage. You can also you can run mix. This thing gets close combat. I'm just saying, this thing has you can do a lot of funny sets with Xerneas in draft. I feel like.
Yeah. My first real gripe with the team is I feel like you're kind of doubling up when you have Cinderace, Thundurus T, and Rotom Heat all on the same team. It kind of feels, I don't know, the Rotom feels almost not useless, but just not exactly ideal. I feel like you could have probably found something that slots in a little bit better.
Well, I think the
Oh,
Rotom defensively is really important on his team because otherwise, I actually don't like his defense. Like his defense is super passive, right? Um,
Yeah.
and
So what,
so I think
Celesteela?
the Rotom Heat is actually really important as a defensive pivot on his team, which he otherwise lacks.
and
Um,
Rotom Heat's longevity is also nice with Pain Split too.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But I see Greg's point. It does have a lot of overlap with Ace and Thunder. But
I think it's
I
okay. I mean, Rotom Heat's going to be
I think it's
defensive. The other two are going to be offensive. I don't necessarily have a gripe with that. I I
I
don't.
don't like Thundurus as a Mon
Yeah, I was gonna
that
say like
much.
I don't really like the
really
offense that much to be honest. Like
No.
Thundy T, I mean
Thunder
Thundy T
T.
Terra is actually
It's
kind
a
of good.
it's good. I think it's a great Terra. I
I just
think
think it gets
it'd be
forced into Scarf so much.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. You can, I think, just have, you can, I think, run some pretty creative sets with Thunder is. Honestly, I don't think you have to force Scarf onto it.
I guess
I
my
think it's
main
probably
thing
the
is
response.
I don't know. I just nah. It does,
And
his offense isn't very threatening to me. Like it's Thundy T can be walled. Um, his other stuff can be walled. Like Cinderace isn't very powerful. Garchomp.
well, I mean, Thunder can be wall, but it has Terra to deal with its weaknesses. Also, I don't think you can go wrong with base 145 special attack
Yeah,
and Volt Switch. Also, his offensive threats are pretty crazy with Garchomp Cinderace. I think SD Skill Shot Garchomp
yeah.
is such a huge threat. You always have to prep for that one.
Maybe I'm complaining
Yeah.
a little too much. I mean, Ogerpon Corner is pretty
I think it's
pretty
really
big
good.
I
threat.
think it's so
Yeah,
good.
I think
yeah.
it's really good.
Sturdy Mound with spikes, and it has SD, Trailblaze, Ivy, Cudgel, a rock move that can't miss.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Holy
The Rock
moly!
type's finally beating the allegations.
yeah. I take it back. His offense is very solid.
Also, he has like his Volt turn is insane. He has Flip turn with Starmie, Volt switch with Thundurus, and Rotom. U turn with Ace. Like he can switch into any of his dudes anytime he wants. Like I feel like
I
this.
feel
Yeah, it's definitely solid. I just really hate the Chansey Celesteela, man. They lose him so
I
much
it,
I,
momentum.
well Chansey just
no,
it doesn't do
just
anything with knockoff. Like it was so much better like in season 9 when basically everything lost knockoff or whatever. I think that was there still in the game.
yeah.
Um I don't know.
I
Like
Hey
if
think
Ben,
he
we need
could
to
just
know.
if he could just get if he could drop like Chansey, Selly, Levani, Swalot, and then work and maybe Manectric too, and then just like work on like getting some like bulky options, spreading out his points on his bulk a little bit more, getting a little bit more pivot or like hazard setters. I don't know. I just eh.
I mean, I don't think you're getting much better than Celesteela,
think
right?
I think Celesteela's probably fine at where it is, at least on this team. I don't know what else you could trade for it.
But
I
Ben, we
would
need
say
to know, what are your thoughts on
Celesteela.
the top 11 Mega?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously it's not top 11 anymore, but I do like it in general. On this team, I don't understand it at all because he also has Thundy T and Rotom, um, and he doesn't need the
Yeah, that
speed.
Mega's just bad.
Like he doesn't need the speed at all. Yeah, I don't think he's ever bringing it. So unless you drop
Now,
Thundy T and then, which he could do, but I don't. You know, Thundy T's good too. So
well, and you lose hidden power. So you're. I looked into this. I think you get Hyper Voice,
yeah.
Flamethrower, Signal Beam, and then your choice
No,
of
its
electric
coverage
move.
isn't good. The main appeal still is that like just an offensive pivot with Intimidate is pretty insane, and with its speed stat.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it definitely like just can't hit some things, which
It feels a little bit repetitive with Thunder ST.
yeah,
I feel like
no, it's
it's
completely
solid but can
redundant.
do more.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up. Um, yeah, I think it's. I still like the draft overall. Mainly because I think getting Xerneas, Garchomp, Celesteela is just pretty solid. Um, Even with the problems, I still give it like an 8. I still think this is very threatening, and I don't want to play against this.
Me either. I gave it an 8 as well. Those first 5 months he drafted are so crazy. Holy moly.
Yeah, I'm between. Let's see. Yeah, I'll give it an 8, I guess. I just really don't like the defense at all. Actually, no, I'm gonna drop it to 7.5. I just think the defense I just don't think he has a lot of defensive options or enough defensive options.
I think he has a lot of flex with his offensive wants to be defensive dudes. Like I think you can run SpitF and defensive guard jump, and
Sure.
like max HP Cinderace is also like viable.
Does Xerneas get reliable recovery?
No, like it's in green.
All right, yeah.
Hey,
Rest
Seven
sleep
and a
tech.
half
Which
for
is
me.
hey, it's all I'm saying is he's got chances Xerneas. Maybe there's some stall tech he can run.
Okay.
yeah, that's a great joke.
Mm,
All right. On to
you can
Crown. All right, timer starting. Um, so I recognize I'm in the minority. Um, and maybe it's because I was bad when I was using Magirna in RPL all those years ago, but I'm not as high in Magirna as like everyone else. But I acknowledge that. I think everyone else I've talked to said it's like a top five. Like if it makes it out of top five, it'll be crazy and it'll be one of the worst things that's happened in the draft. Um, but
I don't think it's like a crazy threat or anything, but in terms of what it does on your team as a jack of all trades, glue piece
I
kind of thing.
don't I don't think it has like potential to ruin the draft, but it's like the ultimate flex one because it can do
Yeah.
literally anything you want. It can fit it into virtually any team. Has Volt
I
Switch,
just think
has
of it like Great Tusk, it's just like so
mhm.
nice to have on any team.
sure.
I will say though, I think Torterra is kind of a steal here.
So cool. Holy.
Um, getting Shell Smash and
Oh,
it being your Terramon.
oh, and not only that, has Headlong Rush and Loaded Dice Bullet Seed now.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I forgot about the loaded dice bullet seed. That's really good.
The Terra Blast too, and it can't get crit with Shell Armor. I think it gets Shell Armor.
Yeah, get shell armor. It's shell armor or battle armor. They do the same thing.
I will say I was surprised he didn't. What's it called? Terra the Manaphy instead of Blissafon. I don't
Yeah,
think I
yeah,
don't
we
think
were talking
Blissafon and
about that.
Terra. I don't think Blissafon and Terra is like explicitly bad. It's just a stronger nuke than before. But I think Take Heart Manaphy with Terra is like one of the. It's probably one of the best Terramons. Like it's like right behind Dragonite, if not on par with Dragonite, as a Terramon, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Imagine if like
I
Manaphy's on
agree.
screens and you can set up with it.
He
Like
should Terra Manaphy over Blissathlon. I definitely agree. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to find like his. Let's see. It's just a really solid, bulky offense kind of draft. Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
I mean,
especially like
he's got like
Rotom.
so much special and physical offensive threats. Like on the special side, he's got the Blacephalon, Lele, Manaphy, um, maybe Electrode, maybe Magirna, or definitely Magirna. Physical, he's got the Roaring Moon, Torterra, Terrakion. He's just got really good balance there.
And
His
his speed
defense,
tiers.
yeah,
Oh my bad. I just thought his speed tiers were off the charts. Roaring Moon
yeah,
and Electrode. Holy.
yeah. His speed, first of all, everything, almost everything is above base 86 speed, which is great. And then he's got what, like five above 100, which is really nice. His speed is great. Um, I think he's a little limited on his defense. He's got the Moltres Gold Bat, maybe like Magirna, I
No,
guess.
he's got
Rotom
Rotom
Wash.
Wash.
Rotom
I think it's
Wash.
fine.
Like
Also,
nothing has reliable recovery, and nothing I see is like a super hard wall. Like usually on
uh,
my teams, at least, I like to have some kind of bulkier offense pivoty stuff, and I also like to have like one or two like just hard walls.
I think he has like decent, really good recovery. Moltres has Roost, and then Rotom and Magearna have Pain Split. So
Yeah,
like
no,
you're getting recovery and damage.
it's fine. Like
Mm,
it's yeah, I don't know. It's
I think it's you can run like a really solid balance team where Rotom and Moltres can indefinitely U-turn and Volt Switch into their offensive threats forever. Like
One thing that I also want to point out is having Tapu Lele with Psychic Terrain. You just pointed out the speed. If you're not getting priority, and I know like Magirna has like Gear Shift, Torterra can Shell Smash,
we
Roaring Moon
true.
can D-Dance. If terrain is up and they get that speed boost off, you're not hitting it first. You just die.
Yeah.
You kind of have to run Ice Spinner against this team, or some way to remove this terrain.
Dude,
Yeah.
Also, random obnoxious one, Chinchino has like I don't know why it has everything. It has U-turn, knockoff, triple axle, bullet seed. This thing has everything off the face of the earth at
Yeah.
base
I
115
love
speed.
Chinchino. I don't
That
know.
thing is so
Yeah,
obnoxious.
he's just got so many good options. Like it's such a well balanced draft. You know, everything can be brought um, and do really well. I feel he's got some setup, Magirna, Roaring Moon. He's got the immediate power like Blacephalon. Um, yeah, Terrakion, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
I just
I would just like maybe one more like hard wall defense option, but I really can't see much else than that wrong with this draft.
No, I think it's really good, really
I think it's
solid.
really, I think it's solid too. I kind of would have preferred the Manaphy Terra, but maybe that's just a minor preference, or the points didn't add up. I don't know.
Looks like
No,
his
it adds up. Blacephalon and Manaphy are about the same.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It looks like his hazards are actually really limited. Like he's got Spikes Magirna and then rocks on Terrakion and Torterra, which are both pretty poor rockers in my opinion. So
He
actually, that's kind
he
of a
actually
problem.
he could actually swap his Terras to minus Blacephalon plus Manaphy minus Electrode plus Chinchino. But you kind of want it
Oh,
on the Electrode to
I
be
like
a
Electro.
budget
Yeah,
Eleki.
Mhm.
I like Electro Terra.
Yeah. All right. With that, I gave it an 8.5. I think it's really good. The best one we've seen so far. I didn't exactly know what Golbat was supposed to do on this team, and I'm not really a fan of Terrakion. Um, but I think it's really, really good.
Mhm. I think just with the amount of offensive threats, I changed it from an 8 to a 9. I feel like his offensive threats are so overwhelming with Moon and Blacephalon, and then Lele has like some of the best coverage ever. I think it's just really hard to swap into that team defensively when it gets going.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8.5. And really, the big thing is just the hazards.
Yeah.
I think if he could get a reliable rocker in here, that would fix most of the problems I see. And yeah, again, it's just a really versatile, fast draft. Yeah, I like it a lot.
All right, Kaui Mango. Obviously, we start with the most important Pokemon first. Shinx is a very cute mascot, 10 out of 10. And with that out of the way, I think their Uber pick Yveltal is pretty good.
Oh, I love
I
Veltal. I think it's
I
really hard to
wanted
get
that.
good dark types in draft. And I think yeah, I just think Veltal is gonna be it's gonna be versatile. It's just gonna be so solid. Can run many different sets. Gonna be hard to predict.
I think it's just annoyingly bulky
Yeah,
as well,
Yeah. I feel like this
and
could be
it
just perfect.
stays on the field forever.
yeah.
Oblivion Wing has knockoff. Dude, the Oblivion Wing is such a broken move. 75% recovery move. That should not
Give
feel
it Big
big.
Root.
And then, dude, it has knockoff defog roost. I think this could be like a great fat mon that's always annoying constantly. Because you're like never killing this thing. And then do the, what's it called? Its ability, whatever it's called, Dark Aura, the
Dark Aura.
1.3x, the 1.3x boost. I say that's a pretty nice buff for
Mm-hmm.
how fat this Pokemon already is.
No, I think Veltal is definitely one of the top Ubers.
I agree.
Top three, I would say even. Um, I don't know. I mean the main thing I can't get past is the speed. The speed's just terrible. Like a Selgor is not coming every week remotely, and even if it does, you can't just rely on that.
Yeah, I think speed is an issue, but I think they have ways to compensate it. They brought what San Dracozolt, and then they have Priority
Mm-hmm.
and Mawile. I think this team is definitely more bulky offensive, generally speaking.
Do they
Actually,
even have that much priority? I don't see
they have
much.
Sucker on Mawile, which is like
Okay,
It's
really
such a
good.
Mawile, and then it's. I think you're wanting to Trailblaze to increase Ogerpon speed.
they have
Mhm.
yeah, they have like Ogerpon. Yeah,
I
no, they
just think,
basically have no. They have Sucker and Mawile Yveltal. That's basically it.
yeah,
So no, that's pretty
speed is
poor
definitely an
priority,
issue.
honestly. Yeah.
Uh, it's like pretty bad on speed, but their team has so many good breakers. Like Ogerpon, between Ogerpon, Mawile, and Volcania with Terra. I think Volcania and Terra is actually a steal of a
Oh, I
Terramon.
do. I agree. Yeah, because I mean, it really needs grass coverage, and it's gonna get the grass coverage, and yeah, it's great.
I just think I think Volcania does a good job of like tanking hits and maybe setting things up for like a potential Mawile or Ogerpon sweep. I think between Mawa, Oakmon, and Volcania, they can all set each other up to potentially sweep with the other Mons. I think they just have really, really good breaking power. And then they have good ways to pivot into all those Mons with between Slowbro and Porygon 2 Teleport.
I wonder if you could see this almost as a like really weird semi-functional Trick Room team as well.
Yeah, I think it might be a Trick Room because Slowbro and Porygon get Trick Room, right?
Oh wait, Trick Room Mawa
Mhm.
could be cool.
Yeah, I think it is a
Right.
semi-Trick Room team. I don't like it. I don't know. It doesn't.
I,
I feel Trick Room and Draft feels a lot harder to set up reliably.
Well, no, I'm not saying I don't like Trick Room in general. It doesn't feel. I guess you got Trick Room Teleport Slowbro. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like the Trick Room quite fits that well on this team.
No, I don't love it.
you could probably fit it
I
as like a tech. Like you don't need to rely on Trick Room, but you could probably leave it on one Mon as like a last move resort if you need it. I think Trick Room can actually be a good way to compensate for their speed issue, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like, especially depending on who you're playing, if they just innately just faster than you on most Mons, you could just splash Trick Room just to kind of help out. And even if it's not like, oh, I'm not into like, I don't know, Mawile, um, you could still be fine going into, I don't know, like a Volcanion that just happens to be slower than, whatever they have on the field.
I think honestly the biggest well, maybe besides the speed, the biggest problem with this draft is the hazards. Their only reliable, I call it reliable setter, is Stealth Rocks on Hippowdon, because you don't really want to be running Rocks on Mawa, or you don't want to be running a
Mhm.
Cellulose Spikes every week. And then the removal is pretty poor as well. Like you got Defog Volcanion, which I don't think you want to be running, and then Yveltal is a solid defogger for
Actually,
sure.
I think Evolto's fine. Yeah, they don't have much
It's
variety.
fine, but it's
I
again,
think
it
it's
just
good.
forces it in a defog role every single week, similar to how Ellie's forced in the like defog Zapdos every week. You know, it's just not. You want to have
Sure.
options, and they don't
Yeah,
have options at all.
even then, no, you're right. I don't think it hurts them that much, but it would be nice to have.
And they also don't have a grounded poison, so
This
Mm,
team might just lose to Toxic Spikes.
yeah.
what do you mean? They have a. Actually, no, you're right. I think this team is probably boots reliant, even though Ogerpunk can't wear boots. Like, I can see boots Slowbro or boots Volcania being a common thing. And then boots on Evoltal too. I think it's a
Well, I
very
think
heavy boots
Slowbro is
team.
running Mega a lot, right? Well, maybe.
No,
No, it's
no, no,
Mava. It has to be
no.
Mava. It
Oh,
has to be
sorry,
Mava
sorry.
Mega.
I totally forgot about Mom. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, well, and even then, you'd rather have Regenerator, I think,
Yeah.
to get you in and out.
Well, it depends, but anyway, they're not running Mega Slowbro.
Either way, I think this team is like can go crazy on the hyper offense. Dude, Mega Molos, I think is such a good Pokemon. Get an SD off and it's just killing everything. Like you never want to switch into Moa and you
I
never
mean,
want to.
it's just getting outsped next turn.
Yeah, but it has
Hmm.
Sucker Punch. It's got Sucker Punch. That's what
Okay, but
this thing must have.
you just make sure your offense resists it. Like it's not
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
that.
that's what you have. I'm saying their team has so many breakers
I think
for
it's a
Moa.
great breaker. I don't think it's gonna carry their team.
I don't think. I think Moa's not a breaker. It's a late game sweeper. You use guys like
Oh, I
Volcanion.
disagree. I think Moa is a breaker. I think Volcanian's a breaker, and I don't really
I
see a lot
think
of sweepers on their team.
I
Maybe
think I think
Ogerpon.
Moa can be a breaker. I think SD Moa is an amazing setup sweeper. I think
I don't
it's
think.
very similar to.
I think in
I mean,
draft
Ogerpunk can use setup sweeper too.
You're not sweeping that much with Moa.
Yeah, my hot take is I
It's
don't
like
even
it's like
like Mawile.
I think
I
a couple Moa haters in here. Mm,
I I acknowledge it's good. I don't like it.
it's
fair
more
enough.
good for just like mid game switching it in and getting off a huge hit, like a wall breaker. So no, I don't. I think it's a good sweeper at all. Yeah, I don't
Mm,
know. It's such a weird draft. The defense, like the offense in theory is like there's a lot of threats. I just don't think it synergizes well. The speed is terrible, and then the defense is good, not great. But
like
you know you got the hazard problem.
I
And
think I think people undervalue. I think his defense is pretty solid with Porygon, and then Hippo and Soba have actually a lot of variety and they can like run spit up sets too. I think the bulk is actually really good. Soba and Hippo are like some of the fattest mons in the game. And then Eevee like Porygon with Teleport. I think this team not having like a grounded poison type really hurts it too, and it can really use its speed. But I think people are underestimating how good of a bulky offense team this can be.
but we have gone way over time, so it's time for ratings. You guys feel like you feel very strongly, so I'll let you guys go first on that.
I gave it an 8. I think Kaui's and Mega are gonna cook with this team. I have so much faith in them.
I mean, I think they're gonna do well, but not because of the draft. I think I gave it a 7. I think it's I can't get past the hazards, can't get past the speed. It's just it could be a lot better, you know? Like so many other drafts
Yeah.
are a lot better than this draft.
I initially had this draft at an 8, and the more I looked at it and I talked about it, I realized I probably put it more at a 7.5. I have more faith in the players than I do the draft.
Fair enough.
Alrighty,
All right.
who we got?
Santander. I had some words with Phantom about this draft. I don't like the first 3 picks. They're good mons. I don't like them together. Ursulin, a Blood Moon, Gallade, and an Emrys. I look at this draft as a whole, and I don't love it. I wouldn't want to play it. I have a hard time seeing how this is supposed to fit together. It's a really good defensive core, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you're doing here.
Yeah, I think at first glance the offense is threatening. He's got the wall breakers. He's got Ursaluna, Gallade, Walking Wake. I think he lacks sweepers for sure. He's got what? Yeah, not
His
really anything. I guess
his like
Gallade
best way is
SD.
his best way of escaping is like SD Gallade. That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
which is
And like
good, but
also I
yeah,
think
it can be countered.
Combine Ursulina is also a pretty broken set when it gets going.
That's true. Yeah, I think Ursaluna is really good. Um, I don't know. It's just it's weird.
I think you can make this team work. I feel like this team's speed is really hurting it too, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
It's
speed
like
I
what
is not the
like
greatest.
Mega Galade's 110 and Amber's is like what max 343 or something, and then Walking Wake's 348 speed max. It's like
yeah.
109 or something.
I used Mega Gallade a couple seasons back, and the one issue I was like, man, I wish this thing was a couple points faster.
I
Because
know.
like you're speed tying with everything at 110, and you can't run adamant. And if you're not running adamant, it feels you're still good with 165, so you're not really suffering for it. But sometimes you need that just a little bit of extra power, and you can't have it.
But like this team's defensive backbone is so good. The my Logic Fortress, Among Us, that team I feel like can be really obnoxious at the same time. Like
I
breaking
think
through.
it's very nice. I think my biggest thing is his only hazards and his only removal is Fortress. Like he's completely 100% reliant on that mon to do everything
Yeah.
I
for him.
think
Well,
you're
he
banking
has
on Xatu Magic Bounce being enough of
yeah.
But
a
he's not
threat in
bringing
team
that.
prep.
Like when is
Actually,
he
I
bringing
think
that?
you can bring Zatu screens. I think it's a viable with like
I
Ursula and Glade.
Well,
Any
I
team where
think
you're
what you
bringing
do is it's a
Xatu is
mind
not
game.
good.
Is you run Xatu like the first week or two, and then when people don't index as much into hazards, you stop bringing it, and then you can finally free up that slot. I feel like you almost have to mind game this and like sandbag the first 2 weeks, and
Okay,
I hate
well,
that. I don't think it's good.
yeah, it's not a good formula.
No, it's not.
Maybe just don't lose games. Um, yeah, the Fortress is way too pressured. Especially considering he's got the ×4 weakness and it shares a fire weakness with Amoongus. Yeah, I don't know.
Like he does have like not bad breakers. Like Waken and Amherst are actually really nice. Like Specs and Amherst and Specs Wake are mons you don't want to. You can it's hard to comfortably switch into actually. And then
Yeah,
walk.
but
And
I
then
also think, like, I see what he's doing with the Walking Wake Ninetales, but I really don't like he's gonna be
it's
forced to bring Ninetales a lot of weeks,
yeah.
and it's
I feel
just
like
not a good bring,
Ninetales doesn't fit with anything else.
Right, like he just he I think he saw that lane. He's like, okay, I'm gonna pick up these two. They work great together. But I think if you're gonna draft Sun, you gotta have more synergy than just one Mon on the team.
I
You
think
know?
yeah, Ninetales doesn't really enable anything else.
Right, exactly. And
And then like
in fact, it
your
makes
weakness
Amoongus
it
and
hurts Among Us.
Fortress worse. Yeah, like
Hmm.
without my Lodic, he's huge Fire Weak, huge Fire Weak. Like,
Well, and
I
then you're
mean, when it gets
firing off a Scald in Sun.
Yeah.
Actually, he could probably do some creative stuff with Savali. Like, he could probably take off a little bit of pressure off Fortress. Like, Savali gets defogged. I used defog Savali a lot last season.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good point.
Like, Savali,
Still.
Savali is actually a pretty nice flex mon, believe it.
It's
It's a bit weird to use actually at times, especially because it can't always wear boots, or like it can't really hold an item if you're trying to change its type to. I don't know. This team,
yeah. I
I don't
don't
hate it.
love Savali. I know it's good and flexible.
No, I don't like it. I feel like you'd rather just not have to rely on it and draft, like, cause it can do anything, but any individual mon is gonna do something better than it, you know?
hmm Well, if you think about it, right? Um, if you're holding an item that changes your type, if you think about it, you don't have an item and you don't have an ability.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I,
I don't
I just
I don't like that.
I just like using it as a means to compensate for stuff I don't have. But
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with Ben that there are mons that just do its job way better, like an individual job way better.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, let's see. The speed is a problem. The hazards.
I think the best part is definitely the bulk of the team.
Absolutely.
Bulk solid, and I do like the wall break. Like it's threatening mons, you know.
Also, yeah, dude,
Barcelona Gallade is
Ursaluna is
like,
so fat. Ursaluna is really hard to kill. Actually, that thing's
yeah,
so tanky.
yeah.
I think if he can like get screens in Ursaluna, and he could probably do some crazy stuff.
That's why Screen Cleaner Mr. Mime is there for.
Yeah,
Picked up for 1 week and 1 week
some teams
only.
should have picked it up.
Alrighty, we should move on. I'm gonna
Move
give it
on, yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 6.
I gave it a 6 too.
I gave it a 7. I wasn't a fan of how cohesive it was, but I thought it was still pretty solid.
Huge. Alright. Britney Phantom. Here we
Let's
go.
go. Hug.
All right,
Greggy's
time to
turn.
lay into them.
Do it. I'll hear you out.
My first
You'll
plan
hear me out.
is not good.
Do
Actually,
you want the good or the bad first?
The good, because there's only good,
Okay, all right.
obviously.
The good is you contested me on 2 picks, therefore I like those on your team. In Ribombi and Donphan. I had been eyeing Ribombi as a really good webs or setup option for the past couple months before RPL started. And you managed to pick up Dragonite, which can Terra.
Yo,
I wonder who let that happen.
and then he didn't tear
And
it?
no, he did. He did. Don't worry. He
Oh,
did.
it's not on the dock.
it's not meant to be Victini.
Okay.
Oh, is it
Change
is it input incorrectly? Yeah, Victini's not able to Terra. Then you have a regenerated core with Tangrowth and Toxapex and Torn T,
Yo,
which is annoying. And it is a certifiably Britney draft when you have Diancie as your first pick.
Yeah.
solid.
So my first reaction is, yeah, like the defensive core is insane. I think the types are really balanced on this team. I think it's really hard to break through in general. I don't love the offense. To me, Diancie is just a little underwhelming in general for this power level. Victini is only really threatening with its like a banded V create. Dragonite's really threatening, but I don't know. I just the immediate power is not here, and so I think you're gonna have a lot of trouble wall breaking in general. I think you got good sweepers. You got in general good speed. You got the Jolteon Terra. You got the Dragonite. I think late game you're gonna be able to clean up. I don't like the. I think you're gonna have a lot of stall mid games.
I think I probably agree. I wish we had like slightly better special attackers, but I think Jolteon and Torn are actually
Yeah,
decent.
I was gonna say that
Are
too.
actually we would have had like nicer special attackers, but I think Torn has like good offensive capabilities with Nasty Plot, and Jolteon being able to turn is also really nice.
Hmm.
We were like really struggling to figure out like what our captains were besides D Knight, but I think this is fine.
Oh
Also,
no, I think this is perfect. I don't know what else you would do.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what you
I
would do.
all right.
I mean, what
I
else? Like, I guess
I
Terra
was
Mimikyu
I
is
think
nice, but you
I
don't
think
need it.
Terra Mimikyu or
No.
Terra Bombi I think are also like really
Why
nice.
would you Terra Bombi?
It's
That thing
got
is a sweeper. It gets quiver.
it gets quiver dance. Also, it can be like a spin blocker with Terra Ghost. I think it has potential.
Yeah,
I
but you're
think
not gonna
I
win
think it's
against
No,
menace.
Terra.
it's
Yeah, you
no,
don't.
it's a menace. It's
It's a
actually a
menace.
menace,
It's a
Ben.
menace. You guys
It's a
don't.
menace. I run it. No, it's actually a
You guys don't
menace.
understand the
But I
Rabombi
think in
template.
draft it's so much different when someone has a Rabombi in draft. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a fine mon, but it's just
Also,
very different in
we got
draft.
the snow team. The last second, like sacrifices
Yeah.
had to be made.
All right. Okay.
You're
I
not here to
have.
accept this.
Yeah, I will support any snow in any draft.
Dude, Arc it goes crazy, even though it's still pretty slow, even with Slush Rush. But you can't go wrong
Mhm.
I
with
was
Bolt
thinking
Beam.
about drafting Arc
Dude,
Digital over.
Bolt Beam coverage with Terra? Holy moly.
Okay. So, are you ready for the bad?
Yeah,
So, what do you do against Earthquake?
it's called Airboat on everything.
It's
We don't
called
need
you
to.
die.
It's
It's
called
called
Tangrowth.
you
It's called Tangrowth. We don't
Okay.
need to worry about it. Torn T. Actually, we do have a few ground immunities. Torn T, Dragonite. Alright.
So what happens when you Terra the Dragonite?
Who says it's gonna be Terra normal every week?
All I'm saying is Torrenty is carrying this team on its back
Look,
as a ground immunity.
all I'm saying is
And if that thing dies, just be prepared to like have an extra like Shuka Berry in the back or something because oh my goodness. Just all I think of is like, man, I should just click Earthquake against you. It'll be so much
all I'm
fun.
saying is this team goes crazy. I just wish also we got another rocker with Auroras. That was nice. That
Yeah,
was nice to have
I
another
actually,
rocker.
I mean, I'm looking at Roars now. I think with the defense buff, it's actually very viable. It's
Pretty nice.
just a pretty good wall hazard setter. Um, I think it's very nice. Yeah, you got
Also,
the clutch removal with Donphan,
yeah,
and Torn is nice too.
that certainly wasn't a controversial pick.
Mm.
Controversial, not in the fact that it was bad, but because of what led to it afterwards. But we'll get into that later.
Yeah, yeah, you sniped me, you bastard.
All I'm saying
Um,
is, dude, this is the GOAT team. You just don't see the vision, Greg. I understand.
I am for sure blind. For sure.
No, I think honestly, I'm not really not finding any problems with it. Besides like the power in general being a little
Also the fact we
underwhelming.
don't also the fact we don't have a steel type.
Oh wait, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Never mind.
You
We don't
didn't.
need steel types. We don't need it.
Immediately,
We
that's
don't.
actually really bad.
We don't need a steel
That
type.
actually affects my opinion
We
of the draft so much.
we were considering making last minute changes to find a steel type. I was like, I stopped caring and wanted something more fun, so I got snow.
Mm, I mean,
Just like drop
you
Mimikyu.
know,
You don't need Mimikyu.
No,
nope. It's a
no,
Britney pick. You can't do
we're
it.
picking it. Sorry, Mimikyu is a staple on the team. We have to
Oh my god.
listen. Mimikyu.
It's hey, it's something. It's
It's
something. Hey, all I'm saying
like
is
it's
Tinkaton
It
is
gives
out
it
there.
gives you priority. You honestly kind of need the priority because besides E-Speed Dragonite, you kind of have nothing else.
Hey,
true.
they're relying on sticky webs.
Yeah.
Look,
I mean,
all
the
I'm
speed
saying
is fine. Like it's
also, I think we have like a lot
Still
of
a
well,
we have like some pretty creative options for our offense actually. Like for what I'm look, you guys don't know what I'm cooking up. About to take the
Mm-hmm.
RPL league by storm. Even though
Right,
Greg has
right.
full doubt. You don't
I
realize it.
doubt.
Dude, now that Britney's gone through her first tournament, she's got the experience. We're cooking.
Okay, okay, right. Uh-huh.
Hmm.
I didn't doubt her. I doubted you.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. All right. Phantom, you know you should rate your draft first. Definitely not because I saw what rating you put down, and I would like
Oh,
you to go first based on
oh,
that.
an 11, obviously.
Oh, would you like
Please,
to say your actual?
dude, Britney and I, we're like Kobe and Shaq, the dynamic duo. Alright, this team is
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
going straight to the moon.
All right. Okay.
Alright.
I gave
What
you a
did I give?
7.
I think, what did I give our team
how did you
actually?
give this a 7? What?
Yeah, you gave yourselves a 6.5.
I'm very harsh on myself. I feel like our
Wait,
special
wait, wait, wait,
we
wait.
didn't have our big thing is not having a steel type really hurt us, and we have a lot of ground weeks.
You guys are
And then
high. You don't have that many ground weeks.
Oh.
uh,
It seems like
there's
There are
there's
6.
6 ground
wait, really?
weeks. Yeah,
Yes. It is Diancie, Victini, Toxapex, Jolteon, Auroras, Arctozolt.
Okay, that
yeah,
is
but
a
we have
lot.
Terra, so it's fine. I think not having a steel type and then we could have had like a little bit more offensive pressure on like the special side would have been nice.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
But
agree.
that
if
being
you get a
I
said,
steel
really
type,
think
you'll
those
have
are
7.
minor things.
that being said, it's perfect.
You also have 6 rock weaknesses.
Yeah, but Brittany and I are like the GOAT duo, so we're winning.
Mm-hmm.
Just ignore last season.
I don't know. I think the
Right.
regenerator core. The only thing I'd say is, besides Torn T, you don't have great defensive pivots. You know what I mean? Or like
Mm-hmm.
ways
Yeah,
to
I
get
know
in
what you
your
mean.
offense.
No, for sure.
But
But
no,
I
like
think we have ways to get around it though.
yeah. No, I really like it. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm 8.5. Like, I think it's just.
I think with like if we get like T spikes, like we have a lot of knockoff mons and then hazards. If we can get like knockoff T spikes up, we could force a lot of progress with like Pex and tank growth pretty easily actually.
Yeah.
And then Victini threatens all the steel types, so it's like I think we can apply a lot of decent pressure.
Yeah.
I'm worried.
Alright. Alright,
Alright.
sorry,
I
we
am
spent
worried.
too much time. Time to move on.
Ben, what was your rating? I
Eight,
forget if you
eight,
gave it or not.
8.5.
8.5.
Jeez.
Okay. All right. Do you want to take mine, Phantom, or do you want me to start?
I was hyping this team up so much. So I love the Slow King Ho-Oh regen core and they balance each other off pretty nicely with that earthquake, with that ground resistant Ho or ground immunity and Ho-Oh. And then he has so much offensive threats. He's got Greninja with Battle
Bro,
Pond
what
and
happened?
Protein.
What is the
He's got
bottom
the
like 6 picks of this draft? What the
wait,
hell?
they're good. Hold
No,
on.
they're
He's got hold on. We'll
What?
get there. We'll get there. He's got Kartana. Kartana is a great snowball sweeper. Komodo with Terra is also stupid. The fact that that thing can Terra is pretty wild. And then Zorak draft mind game seems like a really fun option, especially first-hand experience. That thing is really annoying.
Bro, what
I
happened
think
to this
okay,
draft?
hold on. He's got it. Well, I happen. That's what Greg wants
What
to get it.
happened?
Well, no. Continue, Phantom. You're doing a
Okay,
great job.
he's got like good ways to handle ground. Okay, Orbital I think is underrated on. I saw the stats on that thing. It's actually really really good. It's got webs. Look at
You
how
know it's a
bulky that thing
bug
is.
psychic type, right?
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
like it's his like one of his premier ground resists besides like Ho and
Is
Immunity.
that a good thing?
Yeah, I
It's
actually do. I don't
good.
think it's bad. I don't think it's bad at all. It has screens, it has webs, it has good utility for like it can enable his offense. I
But what?
think.
Okay. With its bug psychic type, it's really switching into a lot of things.
It doesn't need to switch in. It just has to it just has to be in for a turn to set up a screen. So like just get one of them up. It'll lift the next hit. That thing is so bulky.
I mean,
And
it's
then you
not
have
that
flip.
bulky,
60,
I think
110, 120.
but it's
the
being
HP
hit
hurt.
super effective with half the moves in the game.
I don't think it's that awful. I think
I mean,
it'll struggle
I
at
don't think
times
it's
for sure.
unusable, but this is your
I think
premier ground resist.
I
That's what
think
we're talking
well he already has immunities in cryo and ho already, so I think he's fine. And then he has Swampert with rocks and flip turn, and it hits hard. It's such a fat mon. I think it's good, and he's got a good. He has one of the
I think
best
Swapper's
spinners, I
good, but
might
it's
add.
not worth like 15 points for a defensive role.
Yeah, it's but I mean it fit with his team, so I think it was
Sure.
fine.
It
Seismitoad.
was, yeah.
I don't know why you don't just get Seismitoad. It's way better. Like
I think
it's slightly worse, but it's way less points.
I think flip turn is like really nice for his team.
Hmm.
I
Okay,
think
but
that's like I would take flip turn
one move.
over no flip turn. Yeah,
But what you're paying one move for? You're paying 6 points for one move.
yeah, but does it really matter? He got the thing he needed.
I
Like
mean, you could
it's to
upgrade
enable his
so many
offense.
things. You could upgrade to a better rock or ground resist, perhaps. All right. Anyway,
Mm,
okay. So
okay,
I'm not in love with this draft at all. Like, per,
Hmm.
I okay. Offense, I don't like. I don't. I've always not liked Greninja. I just think it hits way too, or it doesn't hit hard enough. Um, Kartana, I don't like in draft in general. I think it's like a wall breaker. It's okay, but I don't think it's a great sweeper, and it just doesn't get the coverage in draft. Como is a fine setup, but again, it's not the most threatening thing. Zoroark isn't hitting that hard. It's the offense is not threatening at
really?
all to me
Dude,
at all. Like
he
this might
has
be the
so.
least threatening offense I've seen of all the drafts so far.
I think he has so much variety on his offense. He can, I think, break through fairly well.
I don't think
Like
so. I think I
Kartana,
think
also
I think
Zorak
you're
hits hard.
taking neutral
Greninja
hits
hits
from
hard.
almost anything except for Cortana.
Dude, also, a big thing you have to take into consideration, he's got future sight slow king. I think that enables a lot of his offense too. He has so many ways to enable
Well, Slow
offense.
King is like his main defensive option, though.
Okay, you can
Because
still
then his
run.
defense feels lacking to me too. Like,
Yeah,
Swarm's fine, but doesn't get reliable recovery. Sylveon has a lot of limitations, especially in its move pool. It's a
but it
it's
can,
a it's a
yeah,
it's
but
a
it can
solid
carry
it's
on.
a solid fairy. Well, okay, but I don't know. The Slow King is fine, but again, you don't want to just rely on a Slow King.
He also has like a garbage rapid spinner. Dude, why did you draft
Yeah,
that
it's
guy?
What
like so
the?
many of these
Yeah, because
mods,
you
like
took it.
these mo- like I don't know, I just don't like almost all of these mods. Like I love Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh's great,
Hmm.
but and Ho-Oh, you're gonna get a lot of burns off it. It's gonna let you get progress in the mid game. Uh, but I just think in general you're really passive.
This is definitely not a passive team. I don't know why
I
you think this
definitely
team is
disagree.
passive. There's nothing passive about this team. He has
How
ways
can
to
you how
heal.
can you go all the previous drafts and say this one has a better offense than any of those drafts?
I didn't say it was explicitly
His
better,
speed is
but
like
it has
not
so
even
much.
like his speed is fine. It's not
I think
anything
it's
special though.
sure, but I think Greninja makes up for the speed tiers enough.
I
I think
think
for what he
it's
provides, I think it's enough. I really do think it's enough.
yeah. And then he's also I guess he's okay. I guess you're fine on hazards. I mean,
No,
you got
his
Swampert
hazards are
Rocks,
fine.
and then you got like T-Spike's Slow King, but
I
it
think the
could be
hazards
better.
are fine.
Could definitely be
For
No,
better.
there's
for his
also
team, I think it's enough.
Spike's lead on Greninja as well. Orbeetle has webs. Como gets rocks.
I think one of the biggest things is his offense has so much versatility to it. He has so many different, like, just a wide variety of moves to hit people with. Think of like Greninja
I
has
would
so
say he
many.
has good. Uh, Besides Greninja, actually, I don't know.
Greninja has a lot of versatility to it, and then like between his special attackers, he's got like offensive moves for every typing basically, or more or less every typing. Like even if it's not explicitly stat, like he has a lot of
Yeah, but
offensive
Greninja
coverage.
accounts for like half of those.
I think it's enough. Dude, you can't go wrong with like knockoff cart or leaf plate cart. Like once Cartona gets
Mm,
an attack boost,
You
it's
just
flexible.
kind of need, it needs
So
one
wallable
kill.
in draft. Oh,
Oh,
You need
I'm
one kill and some chip,
I think
honestly.
Greg's team actually can really wear down teams.
I think like Scarf Cortana is the only way it sweeps, and Scarf Katana is so exploitable. You know.
Yeah, but I just think his options are really good as a whole. Like, you don't need to run Scarf Cart.
Right, and then there's also just other setup options. Like I can run set up Sylveon or set up Como 1 week.
Jericho's
Um,
crazy. Okay.
yeah,
I
I could
guess.
run offensive Ho-Oh because just its natural bulk will let me stay in, especially with the Regenerator. It'll just stick around for a while.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't. Maybe I just don't like the Mons. Like I put basically no value in Orbital, Cryogonal, Ampharos, and Servine, and then even
Yeah, dude.
like Greninja and
I especially agree with Cryogonal. I'm
like
sorry.
I just don't like the Mons. What can I say? Like
I
Ho-Oh and
thought Orbeetle
Slowking
was
are the only
garbage.
Mons I really like on this team, and then maybe Swampert. But even Swampert I like, but not for the points. So yeah,
Hmm.
That's fair. I think that's fair. Okay.
like Ho-Oh, Slowking, the rest redraft.
All right.
That's fuck. That's fuck.
I give Greg's a 9.5. I thought it was that
Oh,
good.
you guys are crazy.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I'm biased because it's my draft, but I also think that just like after playing a couple battles with it, it feels really good to play. Um, and I feel like I have options in prep, which is just fun.
Uh,
That being said, Ben, whatever you say, I'll agree with because
huge.
it's Greg.
Phantom, if you swap your vote to anything lower than a 9, you will be banned.
I don't think
It's
it's
okay.
is terrible. I mean, it doesn't have any like glaring problems otherwise, other than just being underwhelming. So I'll give it, you know, like Ho-Oh does carry. Wait,
All
what's
right.
your spinner? You don't have a spinner.
It's Cryog.
It's right.
You only spinner is Cryogonal with a Ho-Oh on your team,
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
and then your defog is nothing. Question
Cryo Ho Cartana Servine. It's not great, but it
mark, bro.
exists. I don't love that. I planned for
I'm gonna go
Donphan.
with 7. I'm on a 7.
That's my fault. You know, I take full responsibility for that 7. All right, moving
And
on.
then the third team in a
If
row
I
that
looked at
got
this without you guys, I would have given it like a 5. I'm just saying.
okay.
Right now, this
Then give
team.
it the 5 then. Don't
Wait,
let us influence you like that.
Uh,
or do.
maybe.
Okay,
All right.
next team.
Okay, I can actually talk about this a little because I did help them a lot with this team after. Um,
Wait,
I think this team's really balanced. Uh, their speed's solid. I think they've got a lot of defensive options. They've got wall breakers on the physical and special side. Like they've got the Arcanine, Swellow, uh, Megaladias. They've got setup. Oh, and Urshifu, of course. They've got the Sand Excadrill. I think they've just got so much synergy here, and they've just got. It's just like a really balanced draft. They have a
I
lot of
agree.
options.
I love the team. I think it's so good. The sand team works really well with the Corviknight pairing also. Like they have so many
Hmm.
opportunities to use extra drill sand. And their offensive pressure is so nice because Urshifu and Zero Aura can also pivot constantly. Like their Voltron combo is so nice.
Yeah.
I think they provide like it's really easy for them to constantly gain their offensive momentum. And then Lottie also has like very scary potential to be either a setup sweeper or its own breaker. And it's like it could be like a utility mod. You get like healing wish mons if they need a dire uh, support mon.
Yeah, I'm normally not a fan of Latios. I usually think Latios is better, but I think with this team in particular, I do kind of like the extra bulk that it has. And I am very interested to see how Pheasantipity is used because I was looking into it and I think it could end up being a steal.
I think it's a really nice draft mon. Being able to toxic chain with like U-turn and not or
It's just like a
like
defensive
blast is so
parry.
nice. It's
With
really nice. It's because it has roost and it can also like it can chip things down really easily. Like you don't
yeah.
want to. It's hard to switch into Fez, like because you're risking getting poisoned with literally any move.
I think my favorite thing about the draft is just like they are unsweepable because they have so much good speed and priority. Like they got the Sand Drill
Yeah,
and the
I
Zero
agree.
Aura to top out on speed, and then they got like
Yep.
Urshifu, Aquajet, they got Arcanine, E
They also have like
Speed,
a great
Swallow, Quick
Terramon with
Attack.
Swallow. Yeah,
Yeah,
Hmm
I was gonna say the same.
they're like so unsweepable, and it's great. Like that's something we'll get to my draft, but that's something I really tried to concentrate on in my draft too.
Dude,
So I
they have
really
so
like
many
it with
heavy
theirs.
hitters. I love their draft. I don't know. The Whirlipede, dude, they brought back Whirlipede's son. Holy moly, for round 2.
Yeah,
What
It
is
Whirlipede
what's
is
the
annoying.
idea about Whirlipede?
it's just a
Like,
Uh,
suicide lead. Gets like
Suicide
a few
leader,
okay,
yeah, pretty
hazards.
much.
okay,
Because they can't really do much else.
Yeah.
that's I looked at that and I'm
But
like,
it's good.
what's the point of this
It's a
Pokemon?
it's a good mon. It fits into their team pretty well,
Okay.
actually.
Um,
I like this team. I don't know what Lilligant's for, but everything else is pretty
it's
nice.
just a 1 point grass that I forced him to draft.
Mm.
I feel like it's good for 1 point, but yeah, it's just there. Um, yeah, I don't know,
Uh,
man. Like
for,
I think Corviknight does so much for them defensively because otherwise they would be so weak to ground. Well, they are so
Hmm
weak to ground.
the
Um,
Corviknight is such a good pick. It
yeah,
works so well. I love T-Tar. Dude, T-Tar is such a fun Pokemon. They can do so much stuff for that one.
yeah, and especially with the Terra helps it out a lot. I
Yeah.
think.
They can also Mega.
hmm
Yeah, but they're not
Uh,
megaing it.
I think Mega T-Tar is pretty solid.
I'd say
Or it
maybe
can
their
be.
their defensive options are a little predictable. Like they're always running Corviknight. I think Pheasant Deputy is going to be
Sure.
coming a lot. Arcanine's probably offensive most weeks. I think it's a little exploitable there, but you know, they can
But I
work
think they
around it.
apply pressure like really easily though at the same time.
Hmm.
Like
what's your
it's so
guys' thoughts on what the point is of Lapras here? By the way.
It's they really wanted like a water immunity because otherwise they're really scald weak, like really scald weak. And they also wanted some like ice offense, especially with freeze dry. So that's why
oh
they
dude,
got it.
Freeze Dry is really nice. They could also do some fun like Whirlpool Perish Song tech.
I
I
I
support it.
personally don't like Lapras. It's I don't I just don't I think it's too passive as a wall that it really does anything with its attacks. But I don't know. I think it's okay on
Mm,
this draft.
I think it's fine. I
Um,
think Freak, dude, they have so much good wall breaking potential with Zera and Urshifu alone. I really like their team a lot. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It just seems fun to play with too. And they have solid hazard removal too, with like spin on drill and defog overnight. Cause like spin on drill also like enables drill to be more offensive, to apply offensive pressure at the same time.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They're forced into rocks T-Tar every week, but I don't think that's so bad. T-Tar is
I
a
don't think that's a bad thing at
reliable
all. Yeah.
rocker. Otherwise, their
Even
hazards are not good. Like they've only got Whirlipede
no.
basically. So I
Uh,
think that's like the one other thing.
I mean, I think they have hazard mons that are all like good at laying up hazards. Like I think you can do lead Arcanine H as well for hazards. Like a support Arcanine works well.
Yeah.
I think you'd
Wait.
rather run that a little more offensive, no?
You could, but I'm just saying it's an option.
It's an
Like
option, yeah.
I think Scarf Arcanine is like very viable.
Yo, since when did Tyranitar get knockoff? What the hell?
This gen, yeah, and it's.
Oh,
That's crazy.
I honestly forgot about knockoff T-Tar too. Dude,
That's crazy. That's gonna be
T-Tar
crap.
kind of cracked.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Hazards and maybe the defense is a little exploitable. Otherwise, this draft's goaded.
I think their
it's
offensive ones have like decent enough bulk where it probably doesn't matter enough. Like Urshifu on the physical bulk is really nice. He can tank a couple hits. T-Tar is bulky. Latias super bulky and has recovery. Like I think these are all mons that can risk taking a hit or two and deal a lot of damage back.
Hmm.
yeah. The more I look at this, the more I kind of warm up to it. I was really hesitant at first because it doesn't look like it's as threatening as like other drafts, but then it starts to like kind of come together, and that trade for Excadrill, or I guess simultaneous drop or whatever it was, I think really helped this team. It makes it like viable. Um, and I feel like you can kind of work your way around it, but I I wouldn't want to play this team. I think it does what it's going to do pretty well, and I think you kind of know what the threats are going to be most weeks, but I don't think it hurts it as much as it does like other teams.
Yeah. Another thing I'm noticing right now is they don't have the best fire switching like special. Oh, they've got Latias.
Well, they got
Yeah.
T-Tar. Fire switching, they got T-Tar.
Oh, Tito resist. Okay.
I don't need to
Never
worry
mind.
about fire mons at all, I don't think. I think they're fine on the fire
Yeah,
side.
man, this is good. I'm gonna.
Like, I think EQ could be a little bit scary with like, if the second Corviknight dies, it could be scary even with Lottie. But I mean, I think they covered their bases enough.
Well, your recovery on Corviknight is Roost, and you have to play the mind game if you have an Earthquake user on the field, right?
There's,
On when can you afford to click Roost, right? Or if something can splash it.
Look, I know for sure this team applies so much pressure. This team plays so many mind games on you when you face it. It's actually, I love this team. I really did. I think my favorite's still the T-Tar. I gave it a frick. I initially gave it an 8. I think I gave it like an 8.5.
Yeah.
That's how much I like it.
I'm gonna give it a 9.5. I think it's by far the
Really,
best you've seen. Yeah.
I feel like a hater, and I think it's just because I don't particularly like playing this style, and it's going to be harder for me. I was lower. I have it at a 7.5. I still think it's good. It's just not something that I think I would play,
Fair
and
enough.
so I don't know exactly how I would get this to work as well as I would like.
Mm-hmm. This team just does such a good job of bringing in its offensive threats. Like it can do it so easily. So many pivot moves.
Yeah, they had the same kind of thing last season too, where they like had a really good defensive core in the pivot. Yeah.
Mhm.
Next,
All right,
mini ant
Mini and Pancakes.
pancakes.
I mean,
Oh,
I
you,
I don't necessarily like this team. I knew this was going to be strange from the first pick of Gliscor. That really set off. I think if they hadn't picked Gliscor first, it might have been a little more standard throughout the way, and like, oh, okay, nothing's going to go out of order, and they'll just pick from high to low. But Gliscor first pick really kind of made the rest of the draft feel wonky. Um, and I
Mhm.
didn't like the trade they made today.
Well,
I
it's like
think Polytoad for Mousehold. I think Polytoad is better on this team.
Well, what is Polytoad doing on this team?
Well, Polytoad is.
It's
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I
you don't want to bring it. Like you don't. You only want to bring a Polytoad if Rain is a huge benefit to your team, and Rain is not a
I mean
huge benefit to this team.
I think you could do some stuff for Gudra. I think
Maybe.
Not
you're really
enough.
going with like I don't know.
I think if you don't have like an immediate like rain abuser like with Swift Swim, I don't think Polytoad's that great. I think Mousehold's actually better.
I think they should have picked up on Swampert. It was still up after
Oh,
they had
you know what?
Polytoad and
Yeah,
Gudra.
you're right. If they had
I
Polytoad still, yeah, I remember now. They probably should have picked up Swampert if because they had the points too, right? I
they
think.
had the points. It fit perfectly too. They picked Polytoad. They would have like 1 or 2 points left over after Swampert.
I think I feel like I don't want to face this team. This team feels really obnoxious to face because of how bulky it is.
Yeah, it's super bulky, but
The-
I get. Yeah, I really have a problem with the Gliscor first pick too. Like, I get what their thought process is. Like, Gliscor's like banned to Ubers. It's crazy in OU, but first of all, it can't Terra, and also it's a very different draft when everyone can just bring an ice move. Um,
yeah, I think okay. Well, as a whole, though, Gliscor is still crazy amazing. Has knockoff, has spikes now this gen, which is stupid, and it has roost again in that text draft.
I don't
I
think
think
it's.
it can be a good enabler, especially with knockoff and spikes for other Pokemon to go crazy. I just feel like this team is so wildly bulky. I feel like people are going to have a really hard time breaking through this team. Or like if this team can get hazards up and start knocking things off, I think it can wear down teams pretty easily.
Yeah,
I think
there's
Tapu
no.
Fini is kind of important to this team because
I
otherwise
agree.
you're gonna get toxic
I
on some
was
of your
just gonna
bulkier
say that.
things.
Yeah, there is no
Yeah.
grounded poison, by the way.
Hmm
Um,
How
Well,
about Wheezing?
you can change Weezing's ability, right?
okay, but
Yeah, and it's
you're
neutralizing
not
gas
actually
otherwise,
gonna
right?
do that, right?
I mean, you
Maybe.
could. Why not? I mean,
I don't
if you
know.
want to,
You're
I
like,
don't see why not. It wouldn't hurt. I really don't think it would hurt that much. You already have good ground immunity with Gliscor and Buzz will less resist. Like I don't think it's awful to have Weezing. I think Weezing's actually a nice mod on this team.
yeah. So I everything's just kind of bulky offense. There's very little reliable recovery. Um, and I
Uh,
really don't like the off. Like Solgeo is powerful, but otherwise, you have very little immediate threats on this team that are gonna
I
wall
would have
break.
I would have
Very
preferred I
little.
think Gyarados to be a Terra captain instead of Raikou.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I
I think that's
agree.
one of the bigger things.
Well, I think you
I think
somehow,
Mm.
I think you Terra both of them and don't do Delphox and Miltank.
or they have Mega Gyarados on their team actually. I just
Or wait,
Oh,
with
true.
Dragon Dance, I completely forgot about that actually.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
Wait, no, Mega Gyarados is actually really scary and it's naturally bulky. It's
it.
pretty hard to kill.
I think it's a little scary. I don't know. It can be
I
prepped
think
for.
it can be sure, but
Mm.
I think you can actually have a lot of. I think you could be a good end game sweeper because of how much you can chip things down with like Gliscor and Mousehole. Dude, Gliscor Mousehole, the ultimate pairing, you knock everything off for Mousehole to just pop bomb the world.
Mm-hmm.
I I like the
I
Mousehole
honestly
pick.
do. I honestly do like Mouser on this team because they need that immediate kind of threat, like
Dude,
thing
Mousehole gives good pressure.
they
Also,
can shoot.
I like Pterodactyl Fox. I think Pterodactyl Fox is cool. It's a
I
really fast
I
mod,
agree.
and the bulk is there. For you can do some really fun stuff with Pterodactyl Fox. Also, you can be it has Magician for fun, so you can be a rat, steal items. Uh,
Outside
Um,
of Gliscor, they basically have no hazards.
that's what
yeah,
I was.
I feel
Well,
like
and what about the removal?
I'm gonna be honest.
And
Well,
yeah,
okay,
that
actually,
well, they got Finny Defog is okay.
I
Oh,
think
it's just defog. Okay.
Feeney's fine. Also, Mousehold is like an underrated support mod, if you ask me. It can be used
Yeah,
like mixed support mod. It has Encore too. Also, I feel like if you have Gliscor, I think Gliscor is like the only hazard setter you need. Even though, okay, well, probably not true in draft,
Hmm.
but like it's so reliable, like to a stupid degree.
I'm also gonna say their pivots are pretty poor.
Yeah,
Gliscor U-turn, but
yeah.
otherwise, I mean,
Is it Raikou Volt Switch?
Yeah, but
I think their team does struggle with pivots, but
on this
their
kind of
bolt is so
team
nice.
archetype, I think you really want the pivots.
Actually, yeah, the team is a little bit restricted in that you kind of need Gliscor on every team, where you got to get your hazards up if you want to
Yeah,
force progress for stuff.
yeah.
But I still think you can run like good mons with offensive pressure. Like I think Goodra and Buzzle have good offensive capabilities.
I just think this team's gonna get swept. You don't have the best
Uh,
speed, and you don't have hardly any priority. I think,
I think
I think you're
I think
gonna
their
break
team is
through it, and you're gonna sweep it.
uh yeah, it's very possible. But I think their team is obnoxiously fat though at the same time.
I guess I'd
Yeah,
say
but
it's
I
a little
don't.
hard to set up on this team, but I think it can be done.
I think we done. They got freak. I don't know what Sokolea does at all, I'll be honest.
I don't either. I looked. I briefly looked, and apparently it's used as like a wall in Ubers or something.
Wait, it gets
And
future
so
sight, offensive pressure found,
Recovery.
future sight, Solgaleo. What more do
I
you need?
I don't like the offensive threats on this team that
Yeah,
much, really.
it's just not threatening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
I don't like Raikou as a Pokemon either.
I don't like Raikou in the slightest. I think it's fine for Volt switching around, but like I think Gyarados and Delphox are actually decent offensive threats, but outside of that, I feel like they struggle a lot. Not to
Okay.
say this, I think a lot of these monsters actually have decent flexibility to be worked with, but having no pivot options is also really bad. Besides Gliscor.
Okay, we need to move on.
Oh yeah.
I
Um,
I don't like it. Give
I
it.
give it a 5.5.
I'll give it a 5.
Uh, I, frick.
Uh,
I thought it was actually now that I see it more, it's like it struggles more and more. I'd probably give it like 7 to 6, probably now.
actually, yeah, I'll give it a 5.5.
I,
Buzzle
I
All
think I
right,
think
Boomerang is pretty cool.
it's time for Swurlin and Flea. Okay. Um, Chi-Yu. Um, that Pokemon is not as good without Terra.
that Simon is still pretty obnoxious.
It's
It forces prep. It forces a lot of defensive
Mhm.
prep for how naturally strong that mon is, because it can just
Well,
come in and click.
I mean, so this is the opposite of Mini's draft, right? Mini
yes,
games.
absolutely.
Like you got some immediate power. You got Chi-Yu, you got Azumarill, you got Medicham, you got Hooper
You have
Unbound. Like
This
there's
team
some
has like
you
threats.
have Raging Bolt as
dude,
well.
you can't switch into this team at all. Let's say
No,
about
no.
this team. I hate this team. I don't
The webs. Webs is so big for this team. As long as they have webs up, they have a chance.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like
the speed is
that
very
that's low.
underwhelming, but the
But
webs,
like
I
if
agree.
you get rid of Masquerade, get rid of the webs, I feel like this team's gonna
It
you're gonna
implodes.
be a lot of it feels like a glass cannon team borderline, even with Ferrothorn and Lando.
I mean, their offense is bulky. Like, well, Azumarill's
Yeah.
bulky.
Okay,
Hoopla can
Reaching
be
Bolt
bulky.
has like a stupid amount of HP. They do have like bulk to their team, but I also hmm, I feel like if you get hazards up on this team, it's gonna wear down and be extremely fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's the removal? I got
Tidy up for it. Defog
Huge,
Lando.
oh, it's
huge.
basically
Okay, well
only
they have
Lando.
defog
Yeah,
Lando.
Yeah.
They
that's
do have
pretty.
defog Lando, but
I know, but you don't want to have to run defog on Lando, like,
well, I mean you can. It's like defog Lando's like a perfectly viable
and then
set.
they're only rock. I mean, I guess besides Ferrothorn,
Nah, they have
I guess
Ferrothorn and Lander is
they're
good.
fine. Yeah, they're fine. But yeah, no, the remove. I don't like Lando being forced to defog every week. It's not good.
Sure.
I will say the same thing I've been saying, which is their priority is very good.
Pretty is
Uh,
so good. What the frick? They have Mega Medicham
this
Bullet
team
Punch,
is very anti-sweep. Very nice.
Thunderclap Bolt. Oh, dude, they have frick such good sweeping potential too.
What is the
With like,
Boldor doing here?
it's their sturdy rocker.
Stealth Rocks. That was truthfully that was a Swirlin was asleep and was like just you can crowdsource the picks, and I said Boldor cool, Jigglypuff cool.
Also, dude, Terra also a super crazy threat.
Mm-hmm.
You get a belly drum off, especially that thing.
Oh,
And
that is. I didn't realize that. Yeah.
then Monkey Dory could also be pretty obnoxious. It has decent speed, and U turn with
Yeah.
Toxicity.
I mean,
Actually,
yeah,
I would
they
have
that
preferred the Okie Dokie, but at the same time, you needed to make that swap for both the
the
Terra.
Vividmon's nice. Mm,
I think if this team gets ahead, and it turns into like I can 1-for-1 and win. It's
Yeah.
very, very scary.
I mean, the defense is just so almost non-existent, right? Like you got the
Well,
Pharaoh Lando, but Pharaoh can't Terra. You got the fire weakness. Yeah, the
actually, no,
defense is maybe the worst
Fairlander
we've
is pretty
seen so
nice.
far.
It's not awful. I think it's just a very manageable team, but I feel like you're doing a lot of one for ones for sure. Like a lot of like this team. If this team is up, you're probably winning with the
Yeah,
team
the
though.
problem is with that kind of team, you want better speed than what they have.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Um,
Yeah. Speed, dude, speed really hurts though. Like I feel like Scarf Chew is like really mandatory and like.
yeah,
Mm,
And I know Scarf Lando is a thing that was happening for a
yeah,
while,
Scarf
and
Lando's also viable. That's
well,
and
but you don't get
Scarf.
your Terra flying, so
Yeah,
that hurts you a
and
little
you could
bit.
also use Scarf Monkey Dory too. That's like
Mm-hmm.
a common set.
I mean a lot of their things are scarf. Like they got scarf hoopa.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the team is like fairly easy to read on what all these guys can typically do.
yeah, there's not a whole lot of versatility. I can see that.
But also it's like you don't want to switch into any of these guys either. They have so many heavy hitters.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I
Uh,
think it's solid. Like the main thing for me is just the defense is non-existent.
and then the speed is pretty bad. And then they could use more removal than just Lando.
Hmm. Oh yeah, the removal too.
The removal I
That
think
was
really
pretty
hurts them.
poor. Yeah,
If
yeah.
you get hazards up on this team, I think it struggles. Like if Lando ever dies, and you have like a really bulky offensive team, or like just a good bulky synergy team, I think this team gets worn down really fast.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm gonna say. I think the main thing holding this draft up for me is the priority and the just the
just the sheer amount of offense they have also
yeah.
makes it really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I give it a 7, actually.
I give it a 6.5 for a lot of the same reasons.
I stole my grade.
Um,
6.5 is what I was gonna say.
ooh,
Okay,
gotta be faster than that.
onwards.
Back over to Auxsh.
What H?
I'm an Auxx supporter. I'm a huge Auxx fan.
I did not like the draft until I we did those like mocks, and I was like, okay, he might be cooking.
Dude,
He
I
might
was
be cooking here.
holy moly, Gordon Ramsay in the flesh. What? I'm sorry. I, okay, I think the only thing I'm not a particular fan of is the Flygon because they can't Terra. I think that's like the biggest gripe I have with the team. Other than
I
that, I
don't
Why
know
think
what that
are
thing
his
does.
Terras the
I think
Pokemon they
it's so
are?
good.
Just Terra Flygon instead of Meloetta. Who cares?
No, Melotta's I think one of the better Terra ones actually. Melotta's a really good Terra one.
I think if you have Mellow at it, kind of needs the Terra.
Diglett, holy moly, the steal of a pickup. That mod is so good. Being able to trap and kill things. I think okay, this team is really nice. I think getting up hazards with like or rocks with Jirachi is nice, and then Gold being able to block all hazards is really nice. This team has really nice defenses with Gold and Jirachi, and then Mandibus too. I think those guys all fit together really, really well. I think I'm supposed to be like a little bit careful with like potential setup sweepers that can get out of hand, but he has like really great offensive options and decent
Yeah,
speed.
his priority is non-existent, basically.
Yeah, but Regieleki is so fast, it
I was gonna
kind of counts as
say, yeah,
priority.
but
He's got like I guess what Shadow Sneak mainnet, and then
That Pokemon's not
no,
real.
Auxch doesn't listen. You're right, but yeah, it's Auxch. Auxch can make that one work. I think Auxch can do some crazy stuff with this team. Reshiram being also having like base game mold breaker is nice too. I think not worrying about
oh, I,
like
I, I'm not, I'm not nearly as
execution.
high on this team as you are. Like,
That's fair.
I think I put very, very little value in Regieleki. I think it's very bad, especially in draft. I think it's worse in draft than it is in OU or standard play. Um, I th- and I don't really count Dugtrio. Well, Dugtrio's good, especially with Terra.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, the speed, especially for a draft like this where he doesn't have a lot of huge threats, and honestly, he doesn't have a lot of good reliable recovery either. His speed is very poor, and his offense in general
Actually,
is very poor.
I think he actually has a lot of recovery. He's got If you mean recovery, I think he's got what? Recover on gold, Marusto Mandibus, Synthesis Ogrepon, and then Wish Jirachi. I
I
think he's
guess
got a lot of
Reshiram gets
recovery.
recovery too. Okay, I take it
His
back.
recovery's
Yep,
good. And
Okay,
then
recovery
it's
is good.
solid. Yeah.
Heracross.
Well, then I think Benet gets Pain Split. If I
Also,
remember correctly.
Mega Heracross is a huge buff. Heracross got Trailblaze this gen. It has the
Yeah.
potential to be a sweeper. Mega Heracross with Trailblaze and then what skilling to hit all of its moves, dude.
That's true. No, I think
Would
he's
be
got the
buff.
sweepers. He's got Flygon, he's got Heracross, he's got Ogerpon, and he's got the Meloetta. He doesn't have a lot of immediate power at all besides Heracross, I'd say, and maybe Reshiram.
I
Yeah,
think
Reshram's good.
no, Reshiram is like good immediate power. Ogrepon and Reshiram are both good for immediate power because Ogrepon has its what 1.2x boost on its stab as well. Like Ivy Cudgel Horn Leech, you don't want to. It's like those are stuff you don't want to get hit into unless you're like a dragon type. And then Ogrepon also has like coverage with like Play Rough and it has knockoff as well.
There's
So I think
another thing
this,
that play rough.
yeah,
That's
it's Play
crazy.
Rough.
His only
And then
reliable
also
rocker is Jirachi, which is a little unfortunate,
no,
especially on
he's
a
got
team
Duck
with
Trio. He's got
Goldango.
Duck Trio. He's got
It's
Duck
Duck
Trio.
Trio.
Dark Trio is not setting up rocks.
Yeah, yes, it
It
can
can?
absolutely set up rocks. It can absolutely. It can. Doju can set up rocks and claim a kill in like in the span of 2 turns. It can absolutely do
Yeah,
that.
but not like early. Like it's not a I wouldn't call it a reliable rocker. It's like a bonus I get up rocks.
Sure. Also, don't leave out the Spite Ops lead. That mon can be a good lead for
It's
Auxsh.
got spikes, T spikes, and sticky web.
Yeah, and it's got first impression.
Yeah.
I just think on a team with Goldango, you really want better hazards than this, especially rockers.
Well, I think once you get the hazards up, I think you're chilling so long as the gold's alive.
But like, Jirachi's forced into rocks every single week. I played with Jirachi last season. Jirachi's great. It's really versatile. You do not want to force it to have stealth rocks every week because it cannot fit it a lot of weeks.
You
I
could also
think
just run it on Doug Trio if you really want to. Like,
and
you just run it with Sash. If you get it in on something that doesn't immediately kill it with like a double hit or like
You just
bullet
don't
seed
want
or
to
something,
waste
then
your
you're
Dark
fine.
Trio like that. Dark Trio's supposed to be like
as long as
it sits in the back the whole game and then comes out.
yeah, but as long as gold's alive, I feel like it's not always. I think it'll be fine as a rocker, dude. He's cooking. Also, Terra Meloetta is probably a great Terra. It has access to Calm Mind, and like I think you could do some crazy stuff with like Terra Fairy Meloetta. I think it's so good.
Oh yeah, speaking
Ogrepon,
of fairy,
he doesn't
where
need
is the
one.
fairy?
Hey, look,
Y-
we don't need a
You
steel type.
you
He doesn't need
cannot
a steel
no, you
fairy type.
cannot no. Steel is different than fairy. You cannot not have a fairy in this
Yeah, he's got
with all the
yeah.
Ubers running around. You
You
need the
can't
fairy.
do it.
Look,
You need it so bad.
He's
You
got
need
Terra
a
Fairy
fairy.
Meloetta.
Yeah, at
That
least
does
trust
not count.
Magnezone. That's a fairy type, right,
Look,
guys?
I'm sorry, I'm on my ride or die, and I'm riding with Auxsh on this. He's fine.
You need a fairy. No way, dude.
Mm,
Mm.
I think I'll manage. I
That
really do.
I don't know.
is.
The defense is a little passive to me. Like, well, okay, I take it
It's
back.
not. I don't think
I
the
take it
defense
back.
is
Never mind.
definitely not bad. Because like,
Just Mandibus.
That
Even
is
that is fine.
time.
Okay. No fairy, no speed, not good power. Or okay, the power's fine. I don't know. I just don't like.
okay,
I gave it a 6.5.
I gave it a
Sorry,
7.
Auxsh.
I gave it a 7 initially. I'm bumping
Wait,
it
you
up to
guys
an
are
8.
talking this up so much. You give it a six and
I'm
a half and a 7.
I'm going up to an 8. I'm being. This is legit. I'm being serious, by the way. I'm not
You
joking.
can't just
Even though
rate
it's
it based off the player. Like you gotta just
no,
ignore who has the draft and just give it a
the
rating.
team is
I
good. The
yeah,
team is
yeah,
good. I'm not kidding. The team works.
You
It does.
cannot
Okay.
it
draft a
does.
Goldango and not have good hazards. Come
No,
on,
it
man.
works. The team works.
The
No,
team
I hate it.
genuinely works. I hate that it works.
I hate that it works so much.
I think it kind of works. I don't think it's huge problems, but it's like it's just underwhelming. I don't know.
The offense is there. Ogrepon, Heracross, Reshiram. That's their off. A Golden Go, dude. What's like Golden Go hits
Nasty
so hard with
plot.
Make It Rain. Make It Rain
Oh.
naturally just hits so hard. The offense is there. The only like odd guy out, I think, is Flygon and Bayonet. But like, who cares?
It's Mega Bayonet, and that mon is terrible. I used it. I hate it.
I'm giving it a
Get that off your team.
7.5, and we move on.
Any Auxsh fans?
All right, surely my draft score is higher than Oz's draft, right?
it gets a 4.
Cheese, full cheese,
Full cheese.
full cheese. Dude, this team is so turning. I hate it. I hate how turning this team is. It's just balls to the wall. Dude, Rillaboom just enables everything on the team. It's
Mhm.
really nice.
Yeah.
Also, Rillaboom either enables everything or it gives the healing and resistances. So like halves the Earthquake for Zekrom and Iron Moth and Sneasel.
It's so
and
annoying.
Yeah,
Kingambit.
well, I have too many ground weaknesses to be fair, but yes,
I think
Rillaboom
I
is.
think Rillaboom offsets that just enough to where it won't be as much of an issue for you. And you have like a good. Well, I think Gligar's a great pick, by the way.
Yeah.
Especially as a Terramon, Gligar was so good. Dude, Terra Hattery, that thing.
Oh my
I'm
god!
s- it's
I
such a good,
wish that fell to me. I was gonna try and
such a
steal
good
that, but
And then, dude, Zergum being able to Dragon Dance and have Moldraker, that mon is like
Oh, I
borderline.
think so. I think there's a chance that Zekrom. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying there's a chance Zekrom could be the most broken thing in this draft.
I
Second I saw
I
it,
agree. I
I
think I
agree.
had it as my number 2.
Like,
That
it's just
Zergum is
like
so stupid. It's so stupid how
insane
good.
stats plus Dragon
I think
Dance equals
I
win.
think I think the thing that makes Zekrom the most balanced is its speed is pretty mediocre. I think
Well,
that's
but
like the one
after
thing holding it back.
DD,
Well,
it's.
sure, sure.
DD once.
I'm saying there's a lot of things that can actually outspeed it with Scarf. I'm
I
saying
think
even
I'm using
after.
it more as a wall breaker than a sweeper, but yeah.
Sure. And then, dude, Ninetales for screens cheese, and then, dude, Mega Pinsir is such a good late game sweeper. I,
Yeah.
I hate this team. I
Old
hate
Well, I
Gen.
think, yeah. I'm kind of trying to figure out if Mega Prince is going to be wall breaking or Zekrom or both or neither, but
Well,
yeah.
it just depends on the team you
And then
face,
King
right?
Gambit sweeps too. Like,
Yeah, I hate. I think this team is
God, I
like,
can't Terra.
I think this team is like a little bit predictable with how it kind of works, with how it functions, but that doesn't
what
make
do
it
you
any less threatening. I
mean?
don't
I've
think
got like
it's
so many
very predictable.
different offensive threats to choose
Okay,
from, you know?
sorry. I think personally, I think it's very predictable just because I faced like this archetype like 100 times before. So I
Like, I
think that's
think the
more of a
Rillaboom
personal thing.
Sneasler is really predictable, sure. But I think like between like you don't know if I'm running like a wall breaking like Scarf Zekrom or D Dance or even a defensive Zekrom, and then like
Sure.
I think like other stuff like I might
I
not bring
think
the pincer. I might bring the pincer. Like Iron Moth can
mhm.
be a little bit more defensive. Like Hatterene can be either setup or just support. I might run the Ninetales. I might not. You know, it's like
And then what your rockers are like Gambit, Gligar, Avalugg, I think.
Zekrom.
Yeah,
For
Zekrom
rocks.
gets rocks as well.
Zekrom gets rocks.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
and
He
it
gets
gets
like rocks and
defog.
defog.
that's dumb.
It gets
That's
stealth
stupid.
rocks,
That's so stupid.
defog,
I don't
roost, T wave,
I don't like
volt switch. It's ultimate support mon.
I don't like
I'm
this.
I'm upset it was not taken before that. How did it get to 12?
Well, it's not cute enough for our team, so
Sure.
That's true.
I had a reason.
Yeah, and then the main thing I really wanted to was just priority, and I got it. Like, I just wanted anti-sweep because I just think there's so many threats and there's so much like Terra bullshit, you
Is
know,
so much good priority.
boosting.
Grassy Glide and Sucker Punch Gambit and Quick Attack Pincer.
Yeah, and I got the infinite speed Sneasler.
Well, actually,
What?
look, maybe Sneasler isn't that great.
Maybe it's unusable.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see
Look,
if I can prove Mango wrong with the Sneasler. I don't know.
no
I've been
offense,
in the few games I've played, Sneasler's has been carrying me, so I think it's be good.
dude, it's such a good mod. No offense, Mango. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. This team is. I do think this team is like a little bit predictable, just a little bit predictable for at least in my eyes. I think it is, but I think it's still really, really, really good. Like it's probably one
I'm
of the
surprised
best.
you say that, cause like I
Yeah.
think I got like
No.
unlike a lot of teams, like I can bring all 12 mons, you know. Like I think I don't know. I think I
I
would say my mons aren't the most versatile, even though I think a lot of them are versatile. But yeah, I just think I got so many options, you know.
well, I mean, I feel the same as Phantom. I feel like you kind of have a general idea of what's going to happen when you see them on in your game, and you kind of know what's going to happen. I don't think there's like, oh, like we have this
Yeah,
like
there's not
really
a lot of
niche thing.
surprises,
I
I
think
guess.
I think I think you
Yeah,
can
like
pick apart the
it plays
team pretty
honest.
easily. No, it's not honest.
It's not.
Definitely not honest. It plays. You can pick apart the team relatively easily, but it's definitely not honest. There's nothing honest about this team. It's full cheese. It's pure evil. This team is pure evil. That's what it is. That's what I
I
meant
don't
to
know
say.
if like I don't know if like unburdened. I don't know if that counts as like cheese.
That's definitely cheese. Unburden is definitely Unburden Sneezer is it's like the epitome of
It
cheese.
it feels so just standard. If when I think Sneasel, I
Yeah,
think Unburden.
yeah, that's cheese. That's
I
Sneezer.
don't
Sneezer
know
is
that it
cheese.
is. I don't know that it is.
It's like it's the biggest like I'll say it. Sneeze was like one of the biggest brain turn off Pokemon where you just get set up the train, you go into a grassy seed, and then you SD sweep.
Yeah,
Same with
it's
Gambit.
actually crazy.
They're both like brain off Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by cheese. They're just so easy to reverse sweep.
I'm so excited for the hacks I'm gonna get too with Dire Claw. Like,
Hmm.
finally, I'm gonna at least get like 2 cheese wins with like a Dire Claw sleep that I did not deserve.
This is a team where we call it pure evil.
Yeah.
Respectfully, I don't want to face this team.
I hate your team, Ben.
What's
I
the
think it's
rate?
good. I hate it. Those are two different things. I don't want to play it. I wish I had the other one, Ninetales.
I think I initially gave it an 8. It's like a 9. It's a 9 for me actually. It's just too good. I didn't realize
I
that.
gave it a rating of 8.5, and I am sticking with it.
Okay. I'll give it a
Still not.
9. I think there's a couple things that you guys didn't quite find that are more minor things that I won't say. I would also like to
Uh,
have another like special attacker or a special wall breaker, but I think Tattering Iron Moth can do fine.
yeah.
That's good.
No,
I
that's like
think Moth is.
that has like combine stored power to break unaware bonds too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I see that this team.
Also, I
It's
want to
pure
say
evil.
like Typno is like insanely bulky. Like it's
Yeah.
it's bulkier than Porygon 2, like way bulkier than Porygon
Yeah.
2. Like
I
it's
don't think it has like
crazy.
reliable recovery out of rest though.
No, it doesn't get the reliable recovery, and its move pool is kind of underwhelming. But it
It's
gets
good in
U-turn.
theory and felt terrible to use. It's
Yeah,
exactly
like
how.
it's yeah. But anyway, if I need like an emergency wall, I think Typno is gonna be good.
Fair enough.
All right, Cpayne. Um, how do we let this happen?
Dude, Chien-Pao Volcarona. What the?
How how did we let that happen?
Hmm.
And then you throw Hisui and Samurott for the Ceaseless Edge.
Yeah, dude. First 3 months, I was like, dude, this is gonna be so annoying to deal with. You lead Samurai, get your hazards up. He also has Ursaluna. But I think this team struggles with like pivoting into guys, even though he has like
Yeah,
flip turn Samurai, but and U turn Volk. But
yeah. It's got the threats, but yeah, it's just kind of
he's
his
got to like get him
defense
in.
loses a lot of momentum, I think.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like
I still think it's really good. Like I look at this and
dude,
I feel like
agree.
it threatens you with like you can run. I think Gardevoir is one of the only megas where I feel like you can run the mega or you can run it like as a scarf or something, and I think they're
Yeah,
both viable.
dude, Trace Gardevoir seems also just really fun in draft in general.
Hmm. Um,
I don't know. I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
you
I
just
go
sorry.
ahead. There you
I
go.
think I think you get your hazards up with Samurai, and you just constantly keep them up because you have like Skarm to also keep up hazards consistently. I feel like you can wear down teams really easily, and then end game you can set up and sweep with like Chin with Volcarona or just
Yeah, but
SD
you
Chien
really
Pao.
would with the Samurai, you would really like him to not rely on defog for removal. Because the thing with Samurott is you can like match it 1-for-1 with hazards. Like you might
Mhm.
get chipped
I feel,
down.
I feel like this is a very boots heavy team on its offensive side.
Hmm.
That's a good point. He could just run
What's the
boots.
removal here?
Defog
Scarm?
Skarm.
Defog Skarm, yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
It's
yeah, the
really not
hazard
great.
removal sucks. I think.
I
Yeah, you really want to get a spinner.
But also, like, how much do you worry about hazard removal if you have like boots on Champa and Volcarona? I think the bad part is you're like subjecting them to always wear boots and you're forcing like specific offense, but they're also really good mods. So
I feel like you were running boots on those mods anyway.
exactly.
Like I feel like there's nothing on this team that's like, oh, I was going to run um, this item, but now I have to run boots, right? Like guard is holding a Mega Stone or like a choice scarf or something, and then like you're resisting just stealth rocks or you're immune because of like levitate on Miss Megas from like spikes.
Yeah.
Like
Like
it's kind of an issue, but I don't think it's as big of an issue as like other teams not having as good hazard removal.
you can also like line things up to break stuff with like Breloom and Ursaluna to get to get your sweepers going too. I think the team is pretty solid.
Loaded dice bullet seed.
I feel like this team they'll get like really run down by like toxic though. Like this team, I don't know how much longevity this team has.
I think you could run a bulky Volcarona, like
Yeah.
Fizz Def and then Quiver. And I think you're fine, because if you're running like Morning Sun, or if you're clicking like Giga Drain or something, like you have options to get some health back.
I would really like a better special wall in this team.
Yeah, I was
Like
thinking the
special
same.
offense kind of goes hard. Volcarona
Like
can maybe be run, but you
like
really
guard,
want to.
like guard is a decent special wall kind of sometimes. Like it has good natural SPDF, but you probably don't want to.
You're also running at Mega, so you don't get leftovers or anything.
Mm,
Yeah, no, I really, I mean, Miss Magius maybe can function as that a little bit, but
like I feel like a Pokemon like Walking Bike is pretty scary for this team. I feel like if you don't run
yeah,
like AV Samurai.
yeah, I agree. It's just a more minor thing though. I don't know. I kind of I like
I
this
think
team. It's really threatening,
I
and
think it's
the
pretty
defense
fun to use.
is very solid. Um,
Just another special wall would be nice, probably.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, special wall, and then the pivots, and then the removal is the biggest thing. You gotta
Yeah,
get it. Like his hazards are so nice.
like
You gotta get a spinner.
you gotta be careful because like if you're running Guts or Soluna, that thing's already on a timer, and then if there's hazards up, you're really running on a
It makes it
timer.
worse.
Yeah.
And same with
And I
like
like the Dusclops as that last pick, because it gives you a Trick Room option.
Yeah, with like Breloom and Ursaluna.
Yeah, because I think you can really threaten like with an Ursaluna. Like imagine Guts like Flame or boosted Ursaluna in Trick Room. I don't really know what you do against that, other than I guess have like a Ghost type for Facade, but I don't
I
know.
would say
Really high on it.
his speed's a little worrying, but he does have just so much priority.
I think his speed's actually fine with Chin. Chin is fine, and then
It's
base
135.
base 100 Volk, and then
He's basically got two base 100s, Vulcan, Mega
what
Gardevoir,
guard?
and then
Yeah,
he's got the 105
but
Mismagius.
Samrod's like what 85 or
Yeah,
something.
and then he drops all
I
the way
think it's
down
like
to
alright.
85. Yeah, the
It
gap
could.
between 85 and 100 is kind of bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's fine. Like, he's got a lot of priority. He's got the setup Volcarona.
He's got like good
Uh,
mons that apply really nice pressure.
yeah.
And that is time.
I gave it a 7.5. I think it just needs to work on its pivots and like one better defensive wall, SPDF wall.
I was initially at an 8.5, but I think I'm bringing it to an 8.
Yeah, I think the pivots too. I'll give it a 7.5. Yeah.
DoctaShock.
So,
Okay.
oh boy, oh.
Is that a good or a bad Obueo?
Everyone tells me this draft is the best. So let's see.
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
I think it's insane. Um,
Speed is
it,
insane. I see that.
Dude, Sulking enables his team so well too. It can
mhm.
just chill you out into Valiant and Meow, and then they can. And then, dude, Meow Squirrel got that triple axle buff. Holy moly! You just you chill into like Meow, and then you can either U-turn out or get some damage out and swap out into Sulking. And do Gramble with Intimidate, Greymon.
So
That
good.
mod
Oh,
is
that
so
one's just
good.
good in general. Its
You like
stats are good.
Granbull?
Its move pull is good.
It's a
Dude,
T-Wave.
we're
It's
the
hard.
Granbull League, dude. No one likes Granbull as one
Um,
of the best.
oh my
That's
god,
because
it's
it's
so.
performed so well.
I'll be honest. I wanted to bump it up more, but I'm like that would be trolling. I can't just bump it up off of last season.
Dude,
Like it's really good.
when kind of bunnies used Gramble last season, it was so annoying. It had Heal Bell and T-Wave.
Mm-hmm. Oh my
Dude,
god, the thing just and it stayed around for forever.
also
And
Terry.
it had an answer for like everything you tried to throw at
Yeah,
it. So
literally.
you couldn't prep for everything because you're like it's going to have a coverage move from like something on my team and it's going to hit it too hard. Ugh.
It's so obnoxious how hard hitting that dog was.
Oh my god.
Also, Terra Heatran, well, it's pretty crazy. I think it's
Absolutely.
pretty nice. Terra Grass Heatran or Terra Flying Heatran. Terra Fairy Heatran. I think we could do some really fun options with Heatran. Also, Quiver Dance Terramon or Choreo. You can never go wrong with a Quiver Dance Terramon. I think.
Hmm.
I think
Uh,
Choreo is bad, but whatever. It's a low point mon.
I think it's a nice Terramon actually, but they have good, like really nice bulk with Palossand and Mantine also. Good rocker and spin blocker and Palossand, and then Mantine has
Mhm.
Scald
Yeah,
and
I
Toxic.
would like a better like physical or another physical wall. Like Grand Bull, you can't just rely on Grand Bull.
Now you got Heatran for Heatran and Gamble are both fine. You can run
I mean,
like Flame
Heatran
Body
isn't
defensive
super
Heatran.
physically bulky.
It's pretty bulky.
It's
What do you?
isn't it like the same
What?
physical and special wise?
Dude, look at how good that bulk is so good for its typing.
It's
It's good.
91,
I don't
106,
know.
You and then
106.
I get
you're on.
it's a more minor complaint. I just think you want one other option.
I think you're good between Palisade and Heatran and Grand Ball. I think you're chilling. To be
Palo
honest,
Sand is not that physically bulky either.
is it? I feel like with its recovery, I think it's manageable. Yeah, 110,
Oh wait,
85 is
no.
great.
Wait, it has more
Bro, wait,
physical than
dude,
special.
DoctaShock's
Okay,
chilling.
never mind. Never mind. I thought Palo had the 110 on special defense. I'm wrong.
No, no.
All right. I take it back. Damn, dude.
Dude,
Yeah, I cannot find anything wrong with this team. Like,
look at how good his speed is. Kilowatt Latios too, not just the other two.
yeah, like his removal is insane. It's like actually the best in the draft, I would say so far.
Dude,
Um, like his hazards, I would say are fine. They're not great. Like only Heatran and Palo,
Hello.
I think it's fine for his team, honestly.
and then like you got the Skunk Tank, but no, it's fine. It's totally fine. Um, yeah,
There's
dude.
so
Like,
much, and then you have
man,
Valiant. You can do like 100 different sets with Valiant in
I
draft.
would say the only thing is I don't know why do you need a Slowking and a Mantine? What
Look,
is what's the
well,
difference?
Slow
It's a
King's like
water absorb, right, for Mantine?
water absorb's fine. It has, I mean, it's fine. It's got Roost. It's got Skull. They can be. It does have overlap, but I think it's whatever.
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe he was just thinking of some Cheatmon, some decent Cheatmon he could
I mean,
pick.
Mantine's
It's
7 points.
also
You could get a better like Dark type or something for that.
it's also like just a DoctaShock mon in general. He's run it before in the past, and it's done pretty well for him.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
No, man, I can't think of much at all wrong with this draft. Like, yeah, I think
This
the
draft
Heatran
is
is so good. Like Heatran Terra, like you said before, I just think that's insane.
Mhm.
I would say maybe his physical power is pretty lacking actually. Now that I notice it.
Yeah and no. Valiant and Meow are probably fine physical mons. He can have a
Valiant
little
is
bit more variety.
mostly running special.
Well, I
I
mean,
think you're
in
running
draft,
mixed, but you can run physical.
I think in draft it just depends on the matchup. You can like Valiant has plenty of physical options. Like you don't count out its physical side at all. You can. It just depends on the week on the match you're facing. That's all.
Right,
Like
like you get CC, you can drain punch, you have your
like
punches, you have knockoff,
SD close combat knockoff. Like what more do you need? Holy besides,
liquidation or leaf blade for fun.
yeah, you had poison jet for the fairy types or still or something.
Hmm.
Like, I think he's got true Grand Bull also. Don't
Granbull
count
is
it out.
not breaking through.
Grand Bull is is the best fairy breaker in the game.
Granville is breaking through everything.
Granbull
I
is not
guarantee it.
breaking through.
I guarantee it. Granville is the goatmon. It's in
Can't go.
Uber's next
You can't
season.
look. Search up Grand. Look at that
Wait, it
128.
actually is 120.
I told you
That's way
guys.
higher than I thought. I thought it was like 100.
Dude,
It
128.
has 10 less than Iron Valiant.
Earthquake, play rough. What more do you need?
All right. Anyway,
His
Uh,
face bang.
for
oops.
context, that's as much attack as Giratina Origin.
Also, for some variety, Mayo is good offensive threat, and then you can run Dragon Dance Mega Latios too. Also, Latios got buffed with its Luster Purge boost.
Also, that is time. I think
Oh,
this will be the most shocking uh, rankings, right, guys?
You're not funny.
Oh,
You're,
I didn't actually intend to say that. I didn't realize that was a
what?
pun.
Yes, you did.
Crazy.
No way.
Sorry, that was me. I gave it a 9. Probably 9.5.
9.5. Yeah,
I was also going to do a 9.5. That's crazy.
perfect. That's as close to 10 as I think anyone was going to get.
Yeah.
Next.
All right, Halbread. I was helping him draft, and by that I mean we were in the same room for part of it. Um, And he basically picked a lot of the mons that he liked from like a while back, and somehow it kind of turned out better than I thought it would. I'm undecided on how I feel about like Deoxys speed, but I'm glad he gets Scizor. And I know that Phantom, you are happy that there's only one of those instead of two. Um,
True.
and then like Dondozo really pairs well with Scizor, being able to absorb those like fire hits. Um, and I think Infernape and Deoxys could be interesting. You can kind of play it by matchup because you can kind of run Infernape as a lead, and you can do it physical or special. I don't know.
I think the Terra mods are really cool. I think that's probably the biggest thing that shine for this team. Quavo with the Aqua Step and Terra, it can like Terra Fly or Terra Water, Terra Fighting
Mm-hmm.
has such good snowball potential. And then Gray told me about Porygon. You can do some funny shenanigans with like Terra normal Porygon Z.
Adaptability specs Terra Hyper Beam. I would like for you to see, like, other than a ghost type, what can take that very well. I think it's funny.
I think this team is like also really fat.
Hmm.
Dondozo, Scizor, and then like
No, that's
Togekiss
the
has
thing.
speed speed up.
Yeah, I think his defense is really great.
Giratina's naturally bulky.
Like I really like Togekiss. Big fan of Togekiss, Scissor, Dondozo, and then Crocodile. I'm a big fan of. Yeah, man. And then even
I feel
like
like I feel like
Shuckle and stuff.
the team feels a little bit weak with immediate offense. I feel
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
like besides like Scizor, like Bullet Punch U-turn, I feel like this team struggles to get
Well, he's got the
it's
Giratina, but I think yeah, his physical offense is very lacking. Well, I
like
would say physical
Giratina can be
power.
okay,
Hmm?
but yeah, it's like I don't know.
He need. I think Southern needs to set up to be threatening, and then
I like his
yeah,
like hazard options with Deoxys and Infernape.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are cool. Deoxys getting Nasty Pot is also interesting. I think that's a pretty
yeah.
big
I
buff
mean,
for
the
Deos.
main thing is obviously the speed. Uh, Besides
Yeah,
Deoxys, that's really poor, right? And then I think
yeah. The speed really struggles actually.
yeah, like especially the gap between like he's on
180 to 108.
yeah, well, not only that, but then 108 to 92 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like so many things outspeed base 92, you know? Like
Well, and that basically just guarantees that you have to run Scarf Croak to kind of make up for it.
I don't necessarily agree. You can run Scarf Porygon or Quackleval can like sweet, get a boost with Aqua Step. But it's just
It's also a spinner.
it's more the I think his setup's great.
It's
It's more just the threats in the mid game, being able to like revenge co stuff well and breaking through.
I don't know. I feel like this team has to rely on its defensive backbone a little bit too much if it
Yep.
gets overwhelmed. Like even with Spadef, like I feel like it's gonna get limited very quickly if Togekiss
Mm-hmm.
is like dead or low. I feel like this team can get overwhelmed pretty easily, and all the pressure is gonna go on Dondoso. That's like the concern.
Hmm.
And then you're either trying to set up or you're just spamming rest, right? Like
So like
you're trying to sit there for as long as possible.
they can like force in setup sweepers const if they get like hazards up and then they constantly force in Dozo with like their own setup sweepers or like their own physical breakers, and then they can kind of just wear down the team with hazards over time. I feel like a good like
Yeah.
knockoff hazards. I feel like can really wear this team down pretty easily. A lot of these ones, besides like Giratina can also wear boots,
Mm-hmm.
and like if you're running Mega Scissor, that thing's gonna take space damage, and then
Hmm.
mm-hmm,
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
will
I feel like
say I'm not too worried about. Well, first of all, he's got unaware Dondozo, so setup sweeping is not a problem. But also, he's got a lot of great priority. Um,
yeah,
so I do really like that. I don't
I don't know.
know.
His
And
special bulk feels a bit worrying.
his what?
Yeah.
Special bulk. Like outside of Togekiss, I feel like it's a little concerning.
I can see it. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like
Depends on the move typings. You could maybe play into like a bulky Scizor set and then
yeah. I don't know. I like the team, but I feel like I'm not
I
sure.
also think he's got maybe the best combination of hazard setters and hazard removal we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Got 3 defoggers, a spinner, 6 rockers if you count Cpayne and Grottle, and then no T-spikes to get spikes from DO speed and webs from Shuckle.
Oh yeah, no grounded poison.
What's his poison? Yeah, I was
Yeah,
about to say a poison type.
it's a little unfortunate.
He might have to almost like Terra into a poison type or something, because that team cannot handle being poisoned.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Like the only mod that can be okay with being poisoned is like Dondel's or Thrust.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
Okay. Final ratings for this? I gave it a 7.
I give it a 7.
I gave it an 8. I think it's really solid. I think the problems are
I think its speed is gonna hurt it a lot
more minor.
online. Okay.
Oh, I forgot about the speed. 7.5. Okay.
All right. Ksch, Toad, and the Rain team.
This is another evil team. Just like Ben,
Absolutely.
pure evil. I don't want to deal with this. Okay, dude, Archelodon in Rain that's not a real Pokemon. That's
It's
Electroshot or Archelodon. First, if it's in Rain, it only lasts 1 turn, and you get the boost no matter what. Even if it fails, you'll always get the special attack boost. So it's always a net positive. Non-lives every hit.
mm-hmm. Well, and then Bundle was already strong, but just imagine a like Specs Hydro Pump in Rain.
And then, dude,
Cool.
Bundle and Burst to get flip turn. They can just flip turn indefinitely and chip you down.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have Tinglu for hazards. And then I hate this. I don't like this.
Galvantula is pretty good in Rain. You just fire off Thunders and then click Webs.
Also, Toadskull, kind of an underrated mod, has Rapid Spin, has great utility. As
I agree.
Toxic, as Spikes, as Knockoff. It can Spore.
Well, I think something else useful
Although-
is when you're into like when you're playing a Rain team, you need something else that can take like a Thunder in
Yeah.
case they try to use that against you. And having that on Tinglu and Toadskull is just really, really nice.
I would say though that I really don't like the ground typing on Toadskull because I think he needs a better water switch in, like in Rain. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, are you saying this team needs a water switch in there?
Yeah.
I think they're fine with Archelodon.
I guess Archelodon. Yeah.
It's like you switch in Archelodon, you get your stamina boost, and you're kind of just chilling. Also, they have Lugia as like a dude. That thing just eats every hit. I realized. Look at those things stats.
Something I was thinking about: would you rather have had Lugia or Tornti on this team?
I think they should.
Oh, they
I don't know.
should have got 20.
It's like probably Tornti.
I think Tornti was just way
I know.
better, right?
I know some people were praying on my downfall for them to take Tornti.
I don't know. I think Lugia.
Could have told them, but I didn't.
Just
I think Lugia's. If Lugia had like U-turn, I would have said this was better. But
yeah.
I think longevity wise, Lugia is good for just walling stuff, and it can toxic things in return.
Right.
I don't know what else Lugia can do. It could probably be like a really bulky Calm Minder if it really wanted to.
It didn't look terrible when I looked at it, but I think Tornti is just better for what this team wants.
For what this team provides, I'd say Tornti is probably better too. I'm really glad they didn't pick it. Also, Screamtail, really good support mod. Wish rocks. It can Encore. It can T-Wave.
Yeah, I just like it for the. It's just a solid fairy type. They really needed that,
I think it's fine. Yeah.
especially with no fire type. They really need or sorry, never mind.
They got what is it? Terra Bearskew. That's also pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Rain definitely got buffed because like some of the best Rain mods got Terra eligible. So I'm glad to see we have like 2 Rain teams.
I think this team is like I'm borderline scared of
1.5.
how much this team is gonna like ruin the league. I'm so scared of this team. I think the big thing is the team is pretty obvious for its structure.
Right.
Like,
I think it's
low.
predictable. I
It's
mean, if you got
predictable.
like a water absorb mon and then you.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
then you
know. I think the options are limited, right? Like you don't have a lot of diversity on your offense to be able to overcome some defensive options. You know.
I agree, but I think it's also like they're so overwhelmingly powerful. It's like very scary. Like I think this team can get out of hand very easily. if they
Yeah,
put
I
it
just
right.
think it's so preppable, this team. I think like it's
I don't disagree, but you know, I still think it's just really good for how. I just think it's really well built. I don't know.
no, I agree. I think it's really solid overall. I see very few problems. Let's see, he's got defog on Conk and Lugia and Palper. Yeah, no, he's got amazing removal. Hazards are really good too, honestly. So yeah, his hazards options are great. Um,
Like I feel like they can probably rely on Toad Scroll and Tinglu to deal with like bulky waters resists, typically speaking. Like Tinglu with Ruination can wear down mons for Barraskewda and Bundle and Arc.
mhm.
And then Toad and Lugia can toxic stuff or set up hazards. Frick, this team is so good. But
Yeah.
I don't want to face this team now. I say this team was probably like I give it an 8.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll give it an 8.
Yeah, I also give it an 8.
8.5. You guys always talk up talk it up so much and then give it a low rating. It's crazy.
I mean, we can be excited and think that it's going to be fun and has potential to be very good, but also realize it has flaws and be
Yeah.
realistic when we give it the rating. Let's
Alrighty.
see. Next
Almost
team,
there.
Cole and Braden. I very much like this team. I
It's
think it's
I think it's one of the best ones.
Yeah,
One of
I
the most
helped a lot
drafted.
on this team too.
Dude, what is this? Oh, you looking team?
it's
Tusk,
just an
Hope of
OU team.
Fable? Man.
And then you just slap on a
Yeah,
RMG on there as well, right? Like,
he just
Dude,
picked up the
Dorm.
Lycan Rock, which I love.
Freaking Darn G is such a not real. That's not a real Pokemon. So stupid.
Yeah, man, he's got the physical power, the special power. He's got the setup. He's got the walls.
Dude, he's got so much bulk on the team too. Between Tusk and Empoleon, man, I wanted Empoleon. I got sniped. I really wanted Empoleon.
Yeah. Actually, now that I look at it, he doesn't really have the setup.
He has setup options.
it's
He
like
could
bulk up Great Tusk, you have Calm Mind Clefable.
yeah, bulk up Tusk, Common Clef, Dragon Dance.
He's got
Bulk is a
options.
thing.
It's not the
He
best.
can. They're not.
Torch
Yeah.
Song Crocolore.
But no, I think the immediate power is really solid.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
It's
Thunder is
hard to swap
pretty
in
solid.
because something's
Crocolore,
going to take massive damage.
Crocolore with Terra is going to be so obnoxious.
I feel like with this team, you have to almost win the prediction game, just so you don't take massive damage for no reason.
Dude, I feel like this is like the premier bulky offense team. It's got
Yeah,
a
and it's
freak.
man, I keep saying this, but like, I think this team has the best hazards and removal
Yeah,
so
what
far. Like,
Tusk Clef Azo for hazard, Empoleon for hazards, and then Tusk Empoleon for removal, and then probably Thunders has defog. I'm guessing.
yeah,
Like,
he's got
yeah,
the T
yeah.
Spike Overcoil is really solid. Um,
Also, Blissey Clef for good support options too. Like, Frank, of course,
and
you
he's
can't go wrong with Hit Wish Heal Bells. Like, look at all of his pivots too. Like,
I know, I was just gonna say that. Yeah, his
he
pivots are
can like
cracked.
flip turn, U-turn, volt switch, teleport, also great. You can do like he has so many options. You can do like lead stealth rock out self and like start I don't know go crazy with this mon in the back. So
Yeah,
No,
it's
I love Azalf as a lead. I think it's like really underrated. I was
yeah.
kind of shocked when it wasn't on the roster for a bit.
I told
So
him that he was lacking priority. And I think he still was lacking a little priority, but he did definitely help that with Lycanroc.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's just Accelerock, right?
and then he's got
so,
he does have the Dundee T priority T wave too. Um,
also it's not like amazing, but Aqua Jet on Overcoat and Empoleon or like something. It gives him
I mean, you're
options.
never running Aqua
Options.
Jet on Empoleon.
I mean, unless you need a specific range
Options.
or something, never.
I'm just saying options. Better to have something than to not have it.
That's fair.
So I think like a priority is a small problem, and then I think I don't love the setup, and I think
Yeah,
like the offense could be more threatening, but
but also
it's very, very
It's like
solid.
Pult and Tusk are already naturally
Yeah,
have a lot of offensive presence,
yeah.
and also Dorm G just breaks everything.
Exactly.
And Pokemon,
It's
why is it easy? You can also run like,
it's.
can you use Zen mode?
Oh yeah, you can use Zenmode.
Wait, he's got the best setup on in the game. Hold on.
You didn't think to ban Zen mode, so it's allowed.
Mm,
I don't even know if it's. Is it that insane?
I think in like Gen 8 Hoopers it was kind of crazy. I don't know. All I know is you could do like some crazy sub belly drum stuff with Zendorm.
Yeah.
Trying to
And then
find problems with this thing,
and
man.
then Clef is obnoxious to kill. Crocodile is obnoxious to kill, and they provide so much progress too. Like Clef can T-wave, it can knock off, it can toxic. It has Moonblast. I don't want to face this team.
Little bigger.
Yeah, it's really good. It's such a good draft.
Yeah, I literally like just cannot find problems with it.
So everything has knockoff, dude. So many things have knockoff.
So annoying.
Uh,
Timer is
I
about to
think
go off. Do we want to just give our ratings?
I'll give it like a 9.
I also gave it a 9.
9.5. I mean, there's no problems.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, onwards.
All right,
This
Muck.
was interesting.
First pick Superior was kind of insane.
I'd say it's pretty crazy. It's a great
Mm-hmm.
mod. Amazing. It's a steal of a pick, kind of.
No,
Okay,
I 100% defend first pick superior at 10 points.
fair enough.
Like, yeah, you could probably wait for it to drop if
You
people
could
don't notice, but
like,
uh,
uh, I don't hate it. I don't hate it, especially with how far down he was in the draft. I think it's fine.
yeah. Man, I love the Iron Boulder
Dude,
so much. Oh my god.
I, dude, I, I think the mod's actually not. I'm sure it'll be great in draft. I think the mod in general is so underwhelming.
It feels bad.
What?
Its speed is insane though. The
It's
speed booster
crazy.
boulder is crazy. I think
It gives
I
him
think
like the
I
immediate
think
physical power he needs,
yeah.
physical sweep. Well, I guess got lost.
I think Psychic Rock is like a horrible typing for
Mm-hmm.
it. Like it doesn't. I think if this was rock fighting, I think this would be like probably one of the best DLC
Yeah,
mods.
like,
It would just be a better Terrakion.
Not having like stab close combat, I feel like hurts it a lot. Like this thing struggles against ground types in general, like bulky ground types. Like once you get the booster off and then you have one physical wall, yeah. Like look at this matchup right now. Like this is I know highly specific, but like if this thing gets +2, you can go to Great Tusk, defensive Great Tusk. Like we'll always love a Zen Headbutt at +2 from Iron Boulder. Like I feel like Boulder really struggles, just barely struggles to get kills off.
I think my main complaint with this draft is the pivots,
Yeah,
especially
I was
on defense.
isn't it? Is it just low punny like a U-turn and bolt on
Wait,
volt switch?
is it actually?
I think it's or maybe I could. I think the bird can also U-turn.
Yeah, the bird can U-turn.
It's
Yeah,
like it's pretty
that's like
weird.
literally it. Yeah, like that's actually like
And it's like
terrible.
I don't think you want the bird or the dog that much on your team either.
Yeah,
Just
like
I
because they're so
it's
weak.
don't.
literally U-turn low putting. That's
I
basic.
think Thwacky with Grassy Terrain is actually really nice. I
For
think
what?
Thwacky could be cool. You can give. I think with Melmetal, it's actually really nice synergy. But like Melmetal longevity is I think nice. It doesn't
Sure,
enable a whole lot,
but
but
I
I
don't
think it's
think he's
alright.
ever bringing it. It's just a
I
point.
think I know. I think
I
Thwacky's
mean,
cool.
Zero point one.
maybe it boosts your leaf storms on contrary superior.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. It's got two things going for it. I don't know. I wouldn't want to bring it.
I think Thwacky's cool. I think he's fine. But he really needs pivots. Yeah, I think that's hurting it a lot.
Like
I think
honestly,
Boombox is
besides the
great.
pivots, I think there's very few problems with this draft. Um, he's got defog on Giratina, which I think he's gonna have to run every week, but that's
Between
fine.
between Mel and Lopunny, his team is Mel Metal and Lopunny, his team is so offensively scary.
Yeah,
Like
it's very scary. He's got setup. He's got like immediate power.
And Amherst is a cool Terra.
Yeah.
And then Serp is like Giga Broken with Terra.
Yeah. I just don't like and then the defense especially. It just feels like to get in his offensive threats is such a chore.
Yeah.
It's such a tall order to get in. Like you always have to be protected because his offense. Well, some of his offense is bulkier, but some of it isn't.
And I
Opening's
feel like
not bulky. Iron Boulder.
his hazard removal is what reliant on Serp and Glamora.
Mm-hmm.
Borderland, maybe Bird. I don't know if the Bird gets defog, but
No, he's running Giratina. Defog every
oh,
week.
Giratina gets defog, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he
Okay,
is a little reliant on
actually,
Glamora too for hazards. Besides
I think
Gastro,
you're
I
running that
guess.
every week, no?
I feel like Hazard's on his team is a bit obnoxious, like especially with the Mega Lopunny. Like Stealth Spikes is pretty
Yeah.
annoying
Yeah.
for his team. Like an Amherst might have to run boots a lot, maybe. Also, I don't like Entei. I just think it's a bad Pokemon.
Oh, I
I
love
think it's
Entei.
bad.
Oh
Oh,
my
I,
god, you
I
guys
don't
are
like
so
it at
wrong.
all.
I
You
think
get
it's Willow.
it's such a progress maker with Sacred Fire. You've not like you just ban Sacred Fire, nothing wants to switch in ever.
That's called okay, but if you
And
make
then you got
Gouging
the
Fire,
E speed is super nice too.
Or,
sorry, I'm being an Entei hater.
Man, I
I mean,
love
I am an
Entei.
Entei hater. I'm a Gen 2 legendary hater,
I still think this team is really cool.
and yet
I
I
think
drafted Ho-Oh.
Sir Giratina Lopunny, all super cool mons. I like that Giratina the bulk Giratina provides. And
Yeah.
he can use res. It can like reliably use res sleep talk, so you don't have to worry about hazards too much from Giratina. Taking it, it can defog, it can
I don't
wisp.
know. I think Giratina is kind of bad, but
I
it,
think Giratina can be
it
used.
works
It's
on
That
just
this
is
team.
time.
All
I
right.
think
All right.
um,
I have the same problem as I with this draft as I do with the Con Bunnies draft, where it's just not something that I would be comfortable playing. I'd rather have a couple things a little faster with like Melmetal and Amorous.
yeah,
He's got plenty of
And
speed.
so
I think his speed is fine, but yeah.
Speed's great.
I feel like Bolt Hunt isn't real.
Well, I mean, he's
I don't
got Iron
know.
Boulder and Serp and Lopunny. Like, I think those are all three great speed tiers.
I'm a hater with some of the Pokemon he drafted, unfortunately.
Fair
So
enough.
I gave it a 7.5. I'm sure he can play it better than I can, and it makes it better. But
Oh,
I'm just
I
low on it.
gave it a 7, but I'll probably
You
go
guys are
7.5.
crazy. What's wrong with this draft?
I don't think 7's bad. I don't know.
Pivots are the only problem. Like, you guys are crazy. This is super
I
threatening. Defense
It
is
is
good. Like, I guess he could use maybe a little bit more reliable recovery on defense. Like, what's? Oh no, he's
7
got
point,
no. Like, Gotcha's got
7.5.
reliable.
I don't know.
You guys are crazy.
I don't see the vision outside of.
I,
I feel
I
like
don't
Serp.
see it.
I feel like when you get hazards up, this team is gonna get hurt a lot.
I mean, Giratina just switches in and defogs whenever it wants. No.
I feel like you can probably take advantage of that. I'm being a
Mhm.
hater. My fault.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I thought I was gonna be the hater. I thought you guys were like, yeah, this is like an 8.5 or like a 9, and you're like, yeah, 7. Like I was.
I am at. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9. I think it's that
Fair
good.
enough.
Okay.
I,
All right.
I
On
mean,
to
I don't want
DT.
to underrate the offense. It's still really good.
All right, DT. Well, for starters, as of this very moment, he currently has one Terra Captain that I know he's fixing. Let's see.
yeah.
As the most recent user of Auxsh for single, I've come to the conclusion that I don't like it,
E-
which translates to I didn't use it well.
Fair enough.
I think gouging fire though could be kind of crazy because what burning
Fire is
bulwark?
so cool.
Oh, it's
This Pokemon is so cool. This is what Entei wishes it could be. I'm sorry, Ben.
exactly
I'm sorry, Ben.
exactly.
Also, this thing is like it's such a bulky Dragon Dancer. It's so bulky
Mhm.
for a Dragon. It lifts hits so easily. Also, I think Urshifu's crazy threatening with the it has SD and Trailblaze. I think this has such good potential to be a setup sweeper. It's borderline stupid how strong this Pokemon is. Also, I think Terra Metagross could be fun. You could probably do some fun stuff with weakness policy or like do a fun stored power set. I think this is just a fun Terramon. I think it's
So
really
I
cool.
didn't I didn't
You
have
should
that
for sure.
vision that you did.
What? weakness policy or restore power.
Yeah, that just wasn't something I thought of. I was like, oh, it's Metagross. What is this thing gonna do? Is it gonna like click Calm Mind or something? And
Yeah,
like,
that's exactly what I was thinking of.
I'm a Landorus hater, like Landorus eye hater. Um, I feel like it definitely deserved to be in that tier. I guess picking at 19, your
No,
options are limited.
I think Lando's great in draft. I think it's like actually insane, like borderline
You can't go
broken.
out with Sheer Force Life or
You're so wrong,
That's true.
Craig.
It's strong.
Like the only
I
thing,
never said
my
it
only
wasn't good.
complaint
I'm
about
just
it
not a fan.
is the speed. Like I am, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like personally, like I like my offense to be faster, and so that's kind of why I shied away. But it was definitely like of the Ubers that made it to me, like it was between that and Zekrom for me. Like I think Lando I is insane, and the defensive typing is insane. Um, it's great.
Let's go down.
I would say, obviously I don't like the speed. The speed's really bad. I would also say that his offense is very biased to the physical side. Or not, maybe not very, but it's biased to
Mm,
the physical side.
relatively. Yeah, I
yeah.
think. Mm, I
I
think
mean, I think you're gonna get like
Not a
Shell
big deal.
Smash Poltergeist, right?
I kind of wish Poltergeist or Floor just got a Terra Captain. I don't know if they can,
Uh,
but
they can. And it probably will. One of them will. I think Poltergeist should get it.
mhm.
Um, I think Florges is one of those Pokemon that is really close to being good. It doesn't have like an actual ability,
That's
right?
why I
Because
felt
I'm
like it could use Terra to compensate. Because I think Combine
maybe.
Forges with Terra is actually really good.
Craig, you need to like go through all the mons. Like there's so many mons that just do not have usable abilities. Like it's not a it's a pretty
I
common
I
thing to have a bad
I know.
ability to be a good
I
mon.
still don't like it. Like I feel like it's a viable thing to not be like happy
No, I
with.
think Forges is great. Like it's a
I think
hard wall. It
Cleaver is really cool.
defogs.
Cleaver is cool with the Stone Axe. I think that's really cool.
I don't know, man. It's like so,
Dude, sharpness, heck yeah.
but like it's
Lead,
speed and it's defensive typing, and it's just
lead, scarf, lead, sash. I think this guy can do. This guy can go places. I think you can do some creative stuff. I think his draft is really fun. I think you can do a lot of really creative stuff with this team. I really do.
I think it's very solid. But
I think
yeah,
the
I don't know.
Tentacle's cool. Tentacle Rotom's a cool pairing.
The,
Hmm.
the hazards and removal is really solid. He does have the wall breakers for sure. Um, he's got setup. Not
I
the
think
best setup in my opinion, but
I really think the teapot floor just needs to tear the. I think it would help his team a lot.
I agree.
And Ogremon's not bad. Being able to hold an item is also nice. The 110 speed's not bad at all. It has Encore, it has knockoff. It's a good mod. It has U-turn. It's
I
actually
like it
really
as
nice.
a support or just like Hazardmon in general.
It's a good
I
support.
was looking to pick that up, truthfully,
And like
at some point.
uh, offense is also nice in general. Like you can't go wrong with Life Cudgel, right?
Hmm.
I would like one more like hard physical wall because I don't
It's,
love relying on Metagross.
it's probably Sandaconda. That's the other one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but that's not a good option, you know.
You could probably make do with it, honestly. But yeah, you could do like bulky Rotom, even though its typing's not great for physical walls.
I think let's see. Priority is honestly not great. Besides their Shifu Sucker and then I guess Metagross Bullet.
I think
Okay,
it's
it's
decent
a
enough.
little
It's actually
underwhelming.
decent.
Yeah, okay. I'd say it's like passable, but it's still not
Mhm.
good.
I think. I think for physical offense is so threatening though. It has like really really good physical threats, like your Shifu, gouging fire. All can do.
All right. I don't know. I think I'm trying to find problems with it. I think it's really solid. Wait, pivots? We didn't talk about that. He's got yeah, pivots are fine. Flip turn Tentacruel is nice. Very nice.
Right.
I'm
I
gonna
think. Hmm. I, honestly, it's a solid. I think it's a decently solid team. Honestly, it's really not that bad. I actually like it a lot. Uh,
yeah, I'm gonna give
what
it
do
an
you
eight
think,
and a
guy?
half. I think it's very solid.
I gave it an 8, and Greg also gave it an 8.
Okay. All right. Is this the last one? Yes, Dax. Last gamer.
Ooh, Greg,
Dax
There?
is
you're good.
Dax's draft I also helped out a lot with, so I do know it pretty well.
It's frick, this seems like really interesting. Also, first things first,
Mhm.
Terra Castelia. What in the world? Dude, I don't like that Terra at all. Dude, the amount of potential that Castelia has, and it's so hard to deal with. It can be so hard to deal with once it gets going. Tapu Koko is really nice. Dude, amazing pivot mons with Coco and Hello. Holy moly. Primarina Flip Turn is also nice. And then, dude, dude, Salamence is such a flexible Pokemon with Intimidate and Moxie. You can do so much
Yeah,
stuff
that's
with
good.
Salamence. Yeah. And then,
No, I thought the 1-2 of like Coco Treads was like kind of amazing and probably the best thing you could have done at that point.
I
yeah.
agree. I would have definitely liked him to get maybe one or two more E-Terrain abusers. I know obviously he wanted Iron Moth and
Yeah.
Sneasler and other things, but I would think maybe an
Yeah.
Invertimon or an like a secondary electric type, or like a Quark Drive user besides Iron Treads would have been
Mhm.
really, really valuable.
Yeah, Coco doesn't have many abusers alongside it, but as a whole, it's still fine. Like, this team, I think, is amazing, actually. Like, really nice. That's great. Like, special power in, like, Darkrai and Primarina. Primarina hits really hard. I think you shouldn't underestimate that Pokemon. It's really, really strong with
Yeah,
Moonblast
no, I,
Skull.
I told him to
That
pick it.
one
I
is
think
really
I think it
good.
was like straight up Primary's like straight up the best thing that wasn't
Dude,
drafted right about.
borderline, like, Combine Primarina is, like, super scary, too,
Hmm.
Yeah.
for teams that don't have, like, Soul King.
Like I almost drafted it over Hatterene when I was drafting, but and then it lasted the whole rest of the draft. I couldn't believe it.
Like, dude, Tauros also great. Tauros and Weezing are great defensive mons also. Like, they're not that passive either. Like,
Yeah, his
what is
defense
it?
is just yeah,
They
it's
can
just
block
very
stuff and then they
strong.
can like will-o-wisp stuff. Like, it's so good. I think it's great. Mamoswine also really scary.
Hmm.
Like, you can't go wrong with Ice Ground.
Yeah, I would say
For
like
sure.
his offense isn't super threatening. Like Mamoswine is threatening. Um,
Salamence is decently threatening. Can
yeah,
make it.
I'm not a big Silence fan at all, to be honest. But
Fair enough. I
he
think
can make it work, I'm sure.
with
And then
Terra especially.
and then Coco doesn't hit that hard. Darkrai hits kind of hard. It's like it can be walled his
Hmm.
draft, but he's just got so many options that I think it's gonna be hard to predict what he's bringing. And Darkrai gets a lot of coverage, and
Also, like, he has like setup potential. If he can get like Veil Up with Obama style, he can do some crazy setup shenanigans with Salamence and Cresselia.
yeah, that was the idea behind that. Um, yeah,
It's,
man.
I think it could be a really threatening team. Darkrai too, just it's a good one. I think having only Dark Pulse as your stab is a little bit underwhelming, but its coverage is so good,
I mean,
nice.
yeah, it just gets the bolt beam coverage, nasty plot.
Yeah,
It's good.
you can focus. You can even focus blast if you need to break a steel type for Cress. Like,
Hmm.
it's a it's a solid one. Wish on Aloe gives this team so much longevity. Aloe is such an annoying Pokemon to kill. Like Aloe Cresselia, I hate that. I hate that so much.
Right.
I think hazards are like a bit weak, but
Yeah, I was gonna say that's honestly my biggest complaint with the draft
it,
is you're
it,
running Stealth Rocks, Iron
no
Treads.
spike also kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But also say though, as rock, they're like two really good rockers. I think Memo and Treads are actually pretty solid rockers.
I don't love Mammo as a rocker. Treads is fine, but it just limits you set
Mhm.
wise if you have
I
to run
agree.
rocks every single week.
No,
So
I
yeah, I would
agree.
definitely like another option there, especially a defensive option. It's not terrible though. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Speed's great. Tapu Koko Darkrai can't go wrong with that speed. Like, actually, yeah, and then Treads with a 346 max. It's like that's pretty good speed.
Yeah, priority could be better. Uh,
Yeah.
Main thing is like Ice Shard Mammo, and then what? That's basically it. Like, Sucker Punch Darkrai is definitely a factor, I guess. But
Mhm.
yeah,
A
no,
lot of
his
knockoff
priority
guys.
is a little weak, and he doesn't have the super high tier speed like some other people do.
Sure.
Um,
I think on the Fistiff side, his team is like obnoxiously bulky,
yeah,
actually.
yeah, like Obama Snow's super bulky. Um,
Wheezing G, also Tauros with Intimidate, and then Aloe. Like it's just I feel like this team is really hard to break physically, and then special side's a bit weak, but you have like yeah, actually no.
I don't
Special's a
think
little bit
so.
concerning. You got Crest and Prima, but
I mean, Aloe can be especially bulky. Primarina
he,
for sure. Then you got like AV Mamoswine. You got like
yeah, you got an AV Aloe too. You're right.
yeah. I think he's fine. I think he's totally fine. No, I
Yeah.
think the defense is pretty cracked. Offense is just a little underwhelming, but
I think offense takes a bit of time to get rolling.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I
But
just worry
otherwise,
that he's gonna be swept.
yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like a good calm minder or a good nasty player might be scary against this team.
Yeah,
Mm, Wheezing with neutralizing gas could be funny, maybe. I wonder what he could do with a mod like that. I like Wheezing. Wheezing is such a cool mod. Mm.
alrighty. I'm gonna give it an 8.5. It's really solid.
I give it an 8, and Greg gave it an 8 too. I think it's a solid one.
Nice. Okay,
It,
I think Greg want to do some wrap up with the points. So
uh,
did my points average? Yeah, it's not working on the doc, Greg.
oh wait, did you here go to your sheet?
Yeah.
You gotta put it. See where its names are on the right side, like in the blue bars. To your right. Look to your right. Now go to Ellie's. Yeah, where Greg is clicking. You have to click it on that, and then it updates on the sidebar.
Oh, shit.
Hmm.
Is that quickly
Yeah.
fixable, Greg? If you just change the reference to this column? Because I'm not about to sit for
Well, his internet's
the
having
next little
issues.
bit.
Well,
Oh, is he not on his computer even? Greg?
hang on. Let me. You wanted to here? I'll just fill it out right now. Might as well.
I mean, can't we just paste it into the first sheet for now, really quick?
Sure, if it works.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
don't know if that works.
That worked.
Okay.
That worked. I'll fix it later. Okay. Um, so what's the aggregate? Aggregate is average. Wait, but there's like two averages. I think it just. Oh no. Okay, we're good. Yeah. Okay. So he's got it ordered here. So let's see. Like DoctaShock had the lead with 9.3. I think that's
Three.
definitely fair.
I think Cole's also really
I
good.
think
I think
Cole
it's
was second,
reasonable.
9.16 average.
I think yours is being up there as an 8.8 is also fair. Just how
Yeah,
tough
no,
your
I
team
think we
is.
pretty much nailed the top three, more or
More or
less.
less. I
I
think
mean, I
just
could argue for myself over Cole. I also think uh, Muck's draft is a little low. Who
sure.
else?
I think a lot of these could probably be contested a lot. That's fair.
Yeah, but no, I think we nailed it in general.
Mhm.
Or I think Greg's draft is way too high.
Yeah, I disagree, but to each their own. Uh, I think Minhquan Kaui's team could be a bit higher too, but I understand difference in opinions. It is what it is. If it was my choice, Auxsh would be top three. I'm still riding with that team. Auxsh's team is so good.
I don't know. Alrighty. Well, we
Wait,
will
what?
post it. I guess post the rankings. Anything else
Uh,
to say?
uh, personal. Quick question. What's your personal favorite team out of all the other drafts, excluding your own?
Um, Let me
Like a
go
quick
back to
glance.
Crowns. Crowns we did really early, and I feel like I might have even underrated it. Um, nah, I don't know. I think maybe Cole's team. I want to say it's just like so balanced, you know. I really like those teams where it's just like very little. It's just built really well theoretically, and it's you can bring almost anything, and you've got just so many different options. Versatile mons.
Mhm. I Cole's team is so good. I think his breaker with Dorm is so cool too.
Hmm
think Greg. Like one of my, if I had to say my personal favorite team, it's probably the Kaui Mango team. It just has a lot of mons I personally like. That's all. Not from like a meta standpoint. I just like using all those Pokemon. I think they're all really fun to use. That's all. And then Greg personally liked DoctaShock's team a lot.
Alrighty.
So I
Well,
don't
we've
know.
been over 2 hours now, so
Yeah,
we should cut it.
yeah.
Thanks for listening, guys. Yeah, here's to a fun season. Thanks for listening. Bye.